Before history was written, wisdom was remembered.
When the matriarch speaks, time listens.
Alafia, number 11 of Arisha Stone. How we doing tonight? This beautiful Matriarch Monday.
Doing great.
I say we have two amazing guests tonight with Dr. Kia Pruitt herself and the High Priestess Maat of Melanated Immortals. This is going to be a good one tonight, y'all. I say. And before we get started, I wanted to give a special thanks to the community and the tribe, man. There's so many amazing people that show me a lot of love over the weekend. Tahir RBG, the OJ Yemis. I would do no justice trying to name off half these people, man. They showed me so much love and appreciation to everybody. There's so many people to the tribe, man. Thank y'all for the support. Tonight, I wanted to tap in with two goddesses that I wanted to really unite and bring together, because right now is a beautiful times for us, man. There's a lot going on, and we're being great by accident at this point. So that being said, the other day I was just watching your show, Dr. Kia Pruitt, and the show you did with Sheikh Jacob Bey. On the way home, I was watching it. You know, when you're traveling, you got to have some good to watch so you stay focused. You know what I'm saying? And that last live you did was actually, you know what I'm saying, was talking about a lot about what was going on my birthday. So one, I want to say, man, big ups to Sheikh Bey. I'm not really familiar with his work except for what I just watched his job. But man, if you could ever introduce us, he's amazing. The way he broke it down, you know what I'm saying. The way y'all broke that down was like next level, top tier. I know. I don't want to do the usual thing because, of course, they think we only talk about finances and everything else, and that's because we're preparing ourselves for a lot of different warfares or what we think is warfare, but the whole time, a lot of things are being turned over in our favor. And just and the transition of power. Both of you talk about this, and it's crazy that we don't know each other. Last week I did the show with the goddess of California, and we can name it the Countess of Mifa. Well, this one is almost like the Queen of the South, where we have so many powerful goddesses between High Priestess Maat, Dr. Kia Pruitt, Sister Myra Moss, OJ Yemi, Mama Kali, where y'all are so powerful just right here. And you're from Florida, you're right next door. You see what I'm saying, goddess? So let me get out of your way. Through traditional power, please introduce yourself. If people don't know, which is weird if they don't know, but if they, you know, so if this is their first time hearing Dr. Kia Pruitt, please tell them who you are and what's going on in this transition of power as of right now.
Okay, well, I'm Dr. Kia Pruitt. I have my own show called the Dr. Kia Pruitt Show. It's an honor to be here. My background, basically, I have an undergrad degree in social sciences where I combined sociology, psychology, economics, and political science in my bachelor's degree, my 4-year program. Then I went on to get a master's degree in counseling, but I also did some postgraduate work in economics. And then I got a PhD in education and counseling psychology. That's a doctorate of philosophy. I was supposed to study to become a dean, and I did work at many colleges and universities, but my passion really is economics. Finances, and geopolitical science. So I do report on geopolitical science and finances in order to help the family, the global family, accumulate wealth and store up their wealth and assets for their posterity. So I'm all about establishing the family, because without a family, then it's hard to establish a strong community. And then, you know, with a strong community, then you go on to build a strong society. So that's just a little bit about me. As I was talking to Chief Rod Hayes one time, I told him one of the things somebody asked me on one of our shows, is what got me on this path. Well, I've always known my purpose, because I asked my mom my name when I was a child. Why is my name Kia? And she said, well, your father's side is Cherokee, and your Kia in Cherokee means the foundation. And as I also, so I went on to study Kias also in Persia. It means king, it means royalty, and other I was also named after Kia, who is Akhenaten's second wife, the great beloved wife. So as a child, I always knew I had purpose to live out a regal life, to help others become regal and become highly self-actualized. I just knew it because everything's in your name, right? My mom named me, and actually was her teacher that named me. She had me at 15, and she was a high school student, but her teacher named me because she knew she was Cherokee and she knew my dad was Cherokee. So after that, I just started having all these experiences, and where I was always pushed forward or thrust forward as a leader. I'm an ordained evangelist. I'm a minister. And because I knew what my name was and what it meant, I always knew I had purpose. And I always knew I created a mission statement for my life when I was a child. I created a vision statement for my life. I was very intentional because as a leader, I knew that I had to live out a lifestyle. If I want to teach other people to become highly self-actualized, I need to be highly self-actualized. So in my eating, in my thinking, and who I chose to marry, making sure I had all my children by that husband, because I knew that I would be judged harshly if I didn't do things even the so-called right way according to society. So everything was about purpose and fulfilling this mission to make sure I lived a highly self-actualized life. I didn't have a whole lot of debt. I made as many righteous decisions if I could. If I made any decisions that steered me off that path, but I didn't make a lot of bad decisions because I knew my mission. I knew my purpose. I knew my vision. But I started having these experiences of levitating, seeing things when I was a child, preaching, helping the homeless, helping the sick. I had many ministries because I just knew my purpose. Then as I got older, I had a vision where these group of beings came to talk to me, and they were called the Falcons. That's what Chief Rod Hayes comes in, because I told him, I said, I had this conversation with the Falcons and I have no idea who they are, but they told me that I'm a part of their clan. And then he told me that is actually a galactic or and maybe even an ancient race of beings or entities. So it makes sense that I've returned, because when I had the first experience with the Falcons, they told me, you need to raise the vibrations of the planet. We've come back to liberate humanity, and you are going to lead that charge. And so it was a whole bunch of melanated beings that had come to visit me. And I asked the woman, she was the leader. Now we know about the matriarch. And I asked her, I was like, okay, why do I look like you? And she asked me, why wouldn't I look like you? I am you. And when I talked to Chief Rod Hayes, Chief Pontiac, about that, he said that the future version of me had come to visit the present version of me to give me directives. And what she told me to do as an adult woman was something that I had been doing from a child on. In fact, when I grew up in church, my pastor asked me when I was very young, what is your purpose? And I said, just spewed out of my mouth, to liberate humanity. And he said, wow. And he said, well, why did you seem just a little hesitant to say that? And he said, did you think I would think, that was a lot? And I said, well, yeah, I was concerned about how you would feel about it, but I know my purpose. I know my vision. And so, he said, well, I'm going to make sure I pour into you and give you all the tools, even though you are an adult now, you've been doing it, but I'm going to help you to become even more sharp. And so here I am today, living out my purpose, starting with my family and teaching others also to live an upright, what I call an upright lifestyle, to have a vision and mission for your life, and make sure every single decision you make, every single activity you do, every single thing you eat, everything you do. I just had a conversation with my children today. Every single thing you do must align with your personal mission and vision and the personal mission and vision of this family. And I'm very serious about that. And so here I am today, teaching others to do that so that they can live a highly self-actualized life.
I shall say, and thank you for that, because this is why I wanted to introduce you to, because you said that you and the High Priestess haven't met before tonight, right?
No, we haven't.
No.
Because you just said everything from time traveling, speaking to your future self, or your future self speaking to the calendars or overstanding wave spells. That's what the whole Her whole movement is about and teaching people about everything that you just said. Integrity in our women is something that like a lot of people don't even understand what that is. And then here you two are preaching about integrity within our communities. We're raising them. When we say matriarch, we're not talking about everybody. We're talking about the women that are actually what the guys like to say, the 52 acts of the actions of unity.
Wow,
So that I really want to connect y'all because, like I said, the power of connecting tribes between y'all. We're talking about matriarch. We're not just talking about just women ruling. We're talking about the wise elder women that have wisdom and understanding and integrity about themselves and knowledge and wisdom and understanding who they are. That's important. Yes. Real quick, Goddess High Priestess, can you do the same for me? Can you please introduce yourself to the tribe if somebody doesn't know? Introduce to the tribe. Tell us about your mission and everything, and just please introduce yourself.
Yes. So give thanks, and it's an honor to be here and to be here with Orisha Stone and Dr. Kia Pruitt. Wow, I wanted to jump right in when she was talking because we had just done her archetype, her galactic archetype right before we came on live, and oh my God, it matches to the T. We'll talk about that in a moment. I have some similar stories. I wasn't as supported in my childhood, but had many of those types of experiences, even with seeing the future self as a priestess. And it seemed like I've seen it in the past, and I've also seen it in the future. But my walk, I grew up in a what they would now call a religious cult. We were Christian, but we were like an offshoot of Seventh-day Adventists. And so we held all of the Jewish holy days. So we were kind of sheltered because from Friday night to Friday sunset to Saturday sunset, we weren't allowed to do much of anything. So we could not participate with the same types of things that they were doing in school. I would say if I had childhood trauma, it was in the spiritual world because I was always getting tapped on the shoulder and whispered in the ear, seeing things, being the only one up at night and the whole house is dead. And, I had an experience, one of the most significant experiences, besides the things that scared me, and this one did scare me as well, is I remember being very scared that night, and I kept trying to sleep right up under my mother, and she got a phone call. So I was in the bed where I was comfortable because I was, nestled in her because I kept, seeing things, hearing things, and she got up to answer the phone, and she sat across the room. And so when she sat across the room, there was this being that came into the room and lit up the whole room and just smiled at me. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, because to them, everything was demonic. Everything was, it couldn't have been anything. It couldn't have been, so-called God or anything like that. It was always a demon or a devil or something like that. But that experience stayed with me for a long time. And what has always happened in my life is I always knew that I was here to do something different. I didn't know, I wasn't as clear as you were growing up, but I always knew that I was some sort of spiritual person, a minister or something like that. Even when I was in the Christian church, I got baptized early, and I kept, I wanted to be in the ministry. I wanted to do this. And then throughout my experience, I have experienced many modalities like Yoruba, Vunan, Akan. I'm a ordained Kemetic priestess, and also a little bit of Yoruba, having a Gungun Igbo. So I've always, it's my nature. My organization is called Mimic, Melanated Immortals Making Evolutionary Changes. And our mission statement is to shift the global consciousness of the melanin. So when you were saying that, I was like, oh my God. So, yeah, so, part of that mission is, it's huge, because so there are many different areas. We have children, we have particularly women, right, that are affected. If we're going to shift the global consciousness, it says shift the global consciousness of the melanin dominant population and establish an everlasting legacy of divine frequency beings with immortal health and immortal wealth through the application and remembrance of cosmic knowledge. And so that's huge. And it's a lot of moving parts to that. And one of the moving parts is this feminine energy that we have and what it means to embody the divine feminine. One of those experiences I had, we had done when I was initiated, we'd done a past life, what do they call it? A past life meditation, right? And we went to what we thought was Kemet, but now in hindsight, I think we were here in North America. But your mind takes you where you think you are. But anyway, we went to this past life regression. That's what they call it. When there was this place we were, and there were all women, and they were on elephants, zebras, and the animals seemed to be extra large. Like they were not the same ones, they were not the same size that we see now. And I was in this structure, and I was looking at myself, but I saw myself, and I was this, priestess or something, high priestess. That's but I was older, but I saw, and I knew it was me, and I could see me. And then there was another sister who went through it, and we saw each other. She was like a warrior or something, and she was riding on a zebra, and she came into where I was, and we saw each other, and then the connection broke. And when we got out, we were like, did you see me? And then she was like, yeah, did you see me? And so at the time, the high priest was a male. And he since we saw each other, he said, I want to take you guys back into the meditation. So we go back into the meditation. And so we go back into that space. I see her, she sees me. And as we were walking into the structure, me, as that priestess at that time, sees him. And she looks at him and she says, no. And then everybody falls back. The connection is broken. And because she didn't want him there. And then he, he wanted to like try to go back in. And I was like, I'm not about to go back in there with you like that, So, and then also the experiences, there was a time, this was probably, I forget how many years ago. Let's see, it was before my daughter. So this had to be around the same time. So this is maybe 11 or 12 years ago. I'm in the room and I'm visited by 3, they call themselves, or the way I translated it was sisters from Sirius.
Wow.
There was 3 of them. And they just came in. They didn't say much. Most of their communication was telepathic. And I asked them, I said, it was like I knew I was expecting them. Like I knew they were coming. I just didn't know when. And so I asked them, I said, am I ready yet? And they said, nope. and they said, we'll be back. And, and so since then, I've had transmissions and things like that from them. Like before I started certain things, like we started a movement called the Melanin Frequency. I was visited every time there's something significant that I do within the organization. I get a message from them, and so yeah, and you know what, you made it so easy to say this publicly, because I don't think I've ever said it publicly, like on YouTube or anything like that. I may have told people this behind the scenes, and see, that goes your archetype. I'm literally guided by your archetype. You're the world bridger. And what's interesting, I'm guided by the world bridger. I am an archetype called, I'm the wind, I'm spirit. You are in the wave, you are guided by spirit. So we're literally guided by each other. So
wow,
your yeah, so your archetype reads, I define in order to equalize, measuring opportunity. I seal the store of death with the self-existing tone of form, and I'm guided by the power of spirit.
wow.
And so that's the world bridger. And Dr. Rod Hayes is also a world bridger, but he's an overtone world bridger. You're the self-existing. And when you were talking about how you said you want to make sure everything is like this and that, if you look at that signature, you define and measure. And literally, you are in the wave spell of abundance. And so when you're talking about economics and stuff, you hold the position in wave spell is a unit of 13. You hold the fourth position, and that fourth position determines the form. So you literally are defining and measuring the form of opportunities to be abundant. Guided by the spirit. Yeah. So I was like, oh my God, this cannot be more on point than, so man, it's amazing. I'm so thankful for us meeting here. This is wonderful.
You know what else we have in common is that I grew up Sabbatarian as well, and keeping all the feast days prescribed in Leviticus 23, all eating holy, eating clean. I was a part of the House of God organization. I don't know what our organization you were a part
Worldwide Church of God.
Well, I'm very familiar with the Worldwide Church of God. In Christ, is the Worldwide Church? Is it Church of God in Christ or just Worldwide Church of God?
Okay. It's called the Worldwide Church of God. It was led by a guy, what was his name? Armstrong, Herbert W. Armstrong.
Yes.
And they used to do the plain truth. What?
Yes, I remember. Absolutely.
Oh my God. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, but then also in as a teenager, we moved to Portsmouth, Ohio. Then that's like Southern Ohio. And then later on as an adult, I moved to Kentucky. I
grew up in Chicago.
Chicago. Okay.
Yes. Wow. So your church was called what?
House of God, House of God, Church of the Living God, Pillar in the Ground of the Truth, House of Prayer for All People Incorporated.
Oh my God. Look at this. Wow.
Yes.
And we're born in the same year.
What? Oh man, I got chills.
I'm November 26th. Yep.
Okay. And I'm the month before you. Wow.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Wow. That's so deep. That's
so God, what's your kin number?
I'm sorry.
186.
You're 186.
Yep. And so with Aretha Stone, you guys, okay. So this is why I was teasing Aretha Stone about the world bridges, because the world bridges are his physical body, and he is your physical body. So that prophet thing. So that you were talking also about how you are ordained and you do, all of that stuff, and you have these prophecies because how you show up on the planet is through the prophet. how he shows up on the planet is through the world bridger.
Wow.
And so you have very similar qualities because, yeah, you can tap into the prophet, destiny, knowing the prophecies and destinies. He can tap into all of the opportunities that the world and bridging worlds, which is exactly what he does. Right.
Wow.
So it's amazing how it's always a connection when we do these sessions. It's amazing.
I say. And what's going on behind the scenes, we all know that what's going on behind the scenes, but Dr. Pruitt, she's always teaching. I love how she teaches because she talks from like I said, she talks from a very wise woman's perspective. And where I'm from, the older women, they put out a lot of toxic information because they want to keep these people's cycles going. But then when you have a woman tell you, no, man, you might want to respect the marriage. You might want to be careful with these contracts that we're doing because they might be doing rituals. And this is the reason we have so much divorce rates because we don't even know what contracts we're signing and they're using. So you said the other day with Mr. Bay about how so many rituals are being used against us and we're not paying attention to that or combating it the way that I don't think we're fighting enough. You know what I'm saying? But I love how both of you also push the thing where we don't have to fight it at all no more. At this point, it's all about unity. We can get past the war part. A lot of you know what I'm saying? One thing about certain things, they burn themselves out. Even with fire, if you don't give it no air, if you don't give it no attention, it eventually burn itself out. And all the evil things and a lot of these things these people are doing that comes to light. I mean, and you know what I'm saying? Light's just another version of that fire is gonna burn it out. So I say that to say you always speak about the Gasar, and I know there's a lot of stuff we can't speak on about the Gasar. But with everything that you can speak on it, how do you feel now? What's going on? Everything right now, is it pretty much lining up with everything you've been talking about for the last couple of years?
Absolutely.
About the Gasar?
Absolutely. I see everything lining up. I mean, just vividly, plainly. I do. Hi, was that Sister? That looked like Sister Latanya Taylor, Dr. Latanya Taylor. I'm not sure if that was her or not.
Bloodline.
That's Priestess Maat. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I see. Yeah. So also, it was weird because, like I said, I was riding home and I saw you had a video, so I was like, damn, I missed out. Because I'm in the river and Oshun decided to flip my boat. So my phone fell in and just if anybody's mad at me right now, please be patient. Y'all for your patience. No, it was beautiful because I was supposed to be on vacation, but my mind never stops working. So I went down there, I'm like, yo, we gotta do this, for the people and everything else. And Oshun said, don't flip the boat. Stop taking yourself so serious. And I fell in the water and I gotta put our people on something. Stop going to the beaches for a little while. Stop going to the beach for a little while and go back to the springs. Go back to the they got us going to all these beaches. All we got to go to the springs and the rivers and these lakes. That's where a lot of power is, and it cleanses you. I fell in the river and I swam for a little while, and then I didn't want to come out the water. You see what I'm saying? It was cleansing. You already know for yourself. When they talk about the fountain of youth, they're talking about the waters all throughout Florida. You know what I'm saying? They call it different things, but the way they hid the fountain of youth was to hide in plain sight. So, with that being said, let's talk about the transition of when we say the transition of power, we're talking about our ancestral rights. When we talk about land, we got to talk about mineral rights. We got to talk about all these different things. When we talk about land, you got to talk about, OJ Yemi got onto me this rise. She said, I hate when we always talk about wealth, finances, gold, silver. What's the sense of talking about it if we don't know what to do with it? Right. So this conversation like this is important because you speak wealth, but you're also on a level of wisdom where a lot of people, they're about to get wealth, and the first thing a lot of our people do is give it right back. When we get wealth, when you have everything, when you have the land, first off, stop buying houses. Let's go buy some land. Let's go buy buildings and land. You see what I'm saying? But Dr. Kill, how do you feel about this transition of power?
I feel that it's pertinent and it's time for the power dynamics to shift from the government or the United States Incorporated, which I call bloodline families, losing everything to returning it back to we the people. And here in the Americas, that the people would be the indigenous peoples first, because we are the true Americans. When you think about, the definition of American, the copper colored races that the Europeans encountered when they came here. But now, you know, we look at 1828 Webster's definition of American, it says the copper-colored races encountered by the Europeans, but now applied to the Europeans. Well, it's American might be applied to the Europeans, but the original Americans are actually the copper-colored races that are erroneously classified as Black. As you all know, African-American, colored, Negro, whatever. So this transition of power had to happen. And I feel and know that the military and really some beings behind the military, I'm glad we can speak freely about, you know, these beings that are here on the planet. And they're a lot of them are melanated. The ones that encountered me are melanated. But the beings have returned on the planet. They have commissioned the military, given them the inspiration to actually take over America and take over governments all over the globe and transition power back to us. So I could see it play it out even with what President Donald Trump is doing. You know, a lot of people don't like mentioning his name. They don't like the fact that I can see what he's doing. But he was actually chosen to take down the deep state. And you have to have somebody that understand how they think to actually use their tools like executive orders to dismantle them. So when the Supreme Court of the United States overturned the Chevron doctrine in 2024, they said this doctrine that gave the United States Incorporated unlimited powers has been unconstitutional and treasonous. Therefore, they must be dismantled. There are 444 governmental agencies that call themselves part of the federal government, you know, like the FBI, the CIA, the Department of Education, Department of all the HOAs, DMV, IRS. 404. Now there are 445 government agencies named. So the Supreme Court of the United States said we're overturning the Chevron doctrine. They've been treasonous, unconstitutional, and against the people. So they must be dismantled. And every judge that participated and allowed this to go on, they're also treasonous. And every judge that knew of a judge that allowed this to happen, they committed misprision of treason. So then President Donald Trump came back in 2025, which he's been really doing a lot of this work behind the scenes anyway. But 2025, he really had the power and the sanction to do this. That's why we are on a partial government shutdown, because as soon as he came back in 2025, he actually he initiated 225 executive orders. And one of the first things he did was to dismantle the government, downsize the government. That's why Elon Musk was tasked with the job of leading the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. That's why we had a government shutdown the eve of September 30th, leading up to October 1st, which was the beginning of the fiscal year and my birthday. So I'm going to remember that. And 300,000 people were given early retirement throughout that government shutdown. And they started cutting down the government one by one since that overturning of the Chevron doctrine. Another thing that happened, speaking of transition of power, now let's talk about economics, finance, and banking, is the next month in the summer of 2024, the Supreme Court of the United States, after they overturned the Chevron doctrine that unlimited the government, because remember, the government there's only bloodline families that incorporated themselves in 1871 as a nonprofit religious organization with the Pope as the head of it. So they came back the following month in July of 2024, and they said, now we're going to deal with the Federal Reserve Central Banking System. State-sponsored banks can now operate independently from the Federal Reserve Central Banking System, and they can have their own charter and issue out their own gold-backed currencies. All this aligns with NASAR, the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, and JASAR, the global version of that, the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act, that said at a certain time, our whole republic would change and be restored, and we would be restored to the gold standard. So saying that state-sponsored banks can disband from the Federal Reserve Central Banking System was collapsing the Federal Reserve Central Banking System. But at the same time, behind the scenes, actually before that, the Moors were already bankrupting the Federal Reserve Central Banking System. That's what a lot of people don't know. And the United States Incorporated. All this was working, accumulating together, as it was just a whole lot of things happening at the same time. So now the state-sponsored banks can issue out their own gold-backed currencies because, according to our lawful government, the Republic, and the Constitution for our Republic, all states operate as sovereign countries. So that's what gave them the power to issue out their own gold-backed currencies. And simultaneously, while Donald Trump is eliminating the 445 government agencies, he's restoring or returning the power back to the states. And for example, with the department, let's talk about the department. Just quickly, Department of Education just announced on Thursday that they're transitioning $1.7 trillion of student loan portfolios to the United States Treasury Department. That's significant because for the Department of Education to say we're transferring student loan debt to the Treasury Department, that lets you know that the Treasury Department, which is part of our lawful republic, the Constitution, is taking over everything dealing with money. Under Trump's first administration, the Federal Reserve was actually put under all the duties, and the IRS duties were starting to transition to the United States Treasury Department. Now the United States Treasury Department is like, we got it. Everything dealing with fiscal policies, banking and financing, economics, the Treasury Department will handle. Why? Because our lawful republic is being restored. So these are just signs and symbols for me that we really are under a military operation, and Donald Trump, as the commander in chief of that military, is systematically dismantling the powers, the United States Incorporated, their Federal Reserve central banking system, and the whole entity that were, coalescing against us. They're systematically dismantling them and restoring us first back to our republic. Us first, because we are the first Americans. The republic, the government, our lawful government was based on Iroquois law anyway. So we know that those, what we call Iroquois people here, those are indigenous African Americans, so-called African Americans. So everything's being returned back to us. But, some people just don't really know how to put all those pieces together. I see it happening very beautifully. I'm excited about it.
I say the same thing. I hate to admit it. I'm sorry, and real quick, I see it, and when we had these conversations, people are like, how can you talk about this with everything that's going on in the world? And I keep saying, nothing's happening to melanated people that's right here on Turtle Island. If anything, and he's not my president. I don't even think he's human. I don't even think that's Trump. But the representative sitting on that chair and playing a position is doing everything in our favor. The reason silver went down, well, he just took a whole bunch of silver from Venezuela and Mexico. The minerals is the main thing right now. And it's funny because, everything is vice versa. When we say gold standard, everybody's well, gold and silver going down right now. And it's weird because how gold and silver are going down right now, those opportunities for us to get it and get back into our creative states and understand what we can even do with this. You know what I'm saying? How much you can do with gold and silver outside of just bling. But then the funny thing about it, the one metal that hasn't went down, that actually went up. Everything that was going down, one metal went up. And we talk about the copper people all the time. Copper. I think that's real weird how copper is steady going up. So we might need to pay attention to that. But High Priestess, how do you feel about that? The transition of power and the Kasar?
Woo! Okay. Well, I can say that I don't really follow it in a sense. However, I'm very much aware of it because over the last 2 to 3 years, I'm going to say 3 years now, I have been studying this process about, what happens when you sign your name at the bank or on anything, and how they run securities and everything. I've even done some of these processes myself. And I'm going to say I've gotten pretty deep in it. I'm trying to keep it, but this is what I'll say. I do agree. I totally agree that is happening. As a matter of fact, I know for a fact that this is happening. I concur with what Dr. Pruitt is saying about this transition. But I want to talk about where it, I think this is my perspective of where this stems from, right? The energy that has been happening Now, I'm going to say it probably started with those, we're talking about this matriarchal energy, this energy that needed to shift as women began to move out of I'm going to say, the patriarchal system, and to start. And this is interesting. I was just having this conversation with my godmother, Moot Anuket. She's the one who gave me the name, my aunt in Makaru. And we were talking about the shift of consciousness. And as women began to find more value in themselves, or expanded value, past off, being there to support their mate, their children, and, taking care of basic needs, but also finding that we have this little unique thing that we can do, right? When we are in a position where we know that something needs to change, we become very foundational. And that energy is not this energy that can be detected, just by, checks and balances and things. It's an energy, though, that begins to expand things and begins to shift consciousness, shift mentalities, and shift the way things are done. So if you kind of look at what has happening, I'm going to say even in our lifetime, or our parents' lifetimes and grandparents' lifetime, and if you follow the woman and you follow how she has, how that whole culture has been changing to where we get to right here, right now, that also follows the political system and how these changes have been taking effect. So it's very much in line with, the women's era, and having more rights, and then having more things be accessible, and then women also finding their spiritual and mental and emotional power outside or in conjunction with, not against. Like I said, we ain't got to be against nothing. It's not a fight, it's a frequency. With the patriarchal, or not the patriarchal, the divine masculine energy, these things are here. This is part of that energy. This is part of the prayers of the grandmamas who said, listen, their babies ain't going to no longer have to do all of this stuff. This is also those mothers who say, I don't have enough time. I don't have to, he's working, I'm working, everybody's working. The children are working, for what? And we don't have time to be families anymore. And so we want that. And so when a woman puts that in her universe, her uterus, and that is what she's birthing, then these things get birthed as well. And so when they come through, it may not look the way we think. It looks like we have some evil, crazy dude, yeah, I say down the street from me, because I live in Washington, D.C. area. But I love what Dr. Pruitt was saying about he's fulfilling a role. And that's part of what we have been putting out. This is a transmission. This has been foretold for a long time. And so these things began to happen and unfold a certain kind of way. And so I would say, like, hey, even for those of us who may not, it's not, everybody has their role and their function in it, right? So if you don't follow it, follow the energy. If you do follow it, go ahead and keep up with Dr. Pruitt. Now I remember, I think this was probably last year, I listened to one of your, because I was doing the things with the securities and changing, changing your status and everything. And I saw you came across my feed. Wow. And you were talking about the Jasara and the, Hey. And I said, oh, okay, let me see what's happening, because I hadn't had success at that point with these things that I was doing, when I was trying to, get the security from my car or get the security from the social and things like that. But I stayed with it.
Yes.
And I'm going to say that I've gotten to a point where I got to in the inner core of it at this point. And I can definitely concur with what you have been saying about that.
May I ask you a question? May I ask her a question?
Sure.
Speaking of the transition of power, can you tell us, and because I'm really curious, I love the way you say we're not going to call it patriarchy, we call it the divine masculine. I love that, because then it's not adversarial, Can you tell me, with the transition of power, how do you see the importance of the matriarchy, like the divine feminine? What does that look like now? Because I know the divine feminine energies, like you said, this is spiritual, are flooding the planet. What is that? I've been trying to figure it out. That's just something I haven't been able to.
You know what? And I love that you said that, because, yes, this term has been going around, divine feminine and all of that stuff. And sometimes, I'm just going to say, sometimes what I've found is that, or the matriarch, I found that it sounds like it's just a replacement. It's just women in charge of masculine things, or doing it the same way. That's not my perspective of it. Okay. My perspective of it is that there is, so I'll roll back to part of the work that I do with women is we've literally taken the feminine system, the physical part of the feminine system, and mapped it to the cosmos. So we do the same thing that the universe does, and we can define it down to the ovaries and the ovums and the fallopian tubes and the uterus, and do the one-to-one match. When you have a menstrual cycle, that's a supernova. If you're no longer having a menstrual cycle, that's like a black hole. It's a vortex. It's a supreme magnet. And we've been seeing that these women, like a lot of times they tell women once they're past a certain age that they are declining.
Yeah.
Oh no, they are defining.
Wow.
And sometimes their abilities are even that much more than those who are what I call, they're in their supernova stage, because they're every 28 days, they have this supernova cycle that we call a menstrual cycle. So when we're talking about the divine feminine, we're talking about a lot of it is unknown. We're writing the book now. It ain't no reference book. It's not, we're finding it because we become it. Okay. Right? I just experienced one of I call her my auntie. She's in her 70s, and she literally said, "Hey, if I get that opportunity, this is what I'm going to do." And I'm going to tell you, within hours, she had the same opportunity that I was talking to her about. When we find, either if we are mated and we are in a position where we have a divine masculine that is in full support of the feminine energy, not controlling, but just sitting back and say, "Well, let me see what she can do," right? Then we have that strength, and then we will find all these things. And none of this, it doesn't look the same. Sometimes it may be even hard to measure it, because the measuring stick right now is masculine, and it's easy, or let me not say masculine, linear, right? 1 + 1 is 2.
Okay.
Right? Instead of 1 + 1, it could be 3, it could be 4, sometimes it's 8. And what I mean by that, a sperm and an egg, 1 sperm and 1 egg, most of the time it equals 1 being, but sometimes it's 2 Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 7. You know what I'm saying? And so that's a feminine thing because we pull from the unknown and bring it into the known. I say the women are creator and the men are God, right? Because we start creating from the particles of the unknown existence. Sometimes we create from the stuff that's known. And then the men put the electricity, the movement to these things. So we're not even doing the same thing. So we don't even have to fight over roles. Like a lot of times, it say the patriarchy against the matriarchy. Well, there's really no against. It's 2 different things. We don't even do the same thing. So we don't even really even need to, have a thing where it's like, it's either like this or it's like that. No, it's both.
Okay.
And they are not. I think if the more women make a decision to be in their divine femininity, even if they don't know what it is, just allow whatever it is, because like I said, we're writing this now. We're writing it right now while we're on this session.
Right.
We're defining what that is. And if we decide that that's what it's going to be, it's going to come. A lot of it is going to come from something that is unknown. And it's just, it's going to activate within us. Right. And we don't have to use this society trains everybody to be men. Everybody's trying to be men. If you don't think like a man, if you cry or you scream or you yell, whatever, oh, you too emotional.
Yes.
Right. Well, the vagina, there's a main artery from the vagina that goes straight to the heart.
Wow.
So guess what? Our vagina is connected to our heart. So yeah, you can't hurt us that way. You know what I'm saying? And then the whole uterus it sits on a neural net that goes right up to the brain. So we thinking it and we feeling it. So now the thing is instead of saying we're too emotional, all of this stuff, what can we do with that? I think it's dope that is connected that way. So what does that mean? So it doesn't have to be this thing where it has to get measured by what is already in existence. It is about creating from this energy that's always been here, but it has been kind of shut down during, I'm going to say, the last 2026 years. Maybe even more. It's been on a shutdown. Yes. And now we had this, it's open now for us to be in full exploration and activation of that. Hopefully that answered the question. I know I went on it.
Yes. The divine feminine, the emoting, the feeling, that's a part of our creative energy. And couple that with the divine masculine who are doing, it seems like it brings balance.
That's
beautiful. And we've been imbalanced. We've been really.
That's it. And so the matriarch has to rise for the balance to come back in. See, this is the thing, because sometimes you might have people say, oh, no, we can't, we got to think about. No, I think the matriarch has to rise for there to be balance, because it's been quiet for now. So it does need to come up. It's okay, because we're going to think about that anyway. We're going to automatically do it.
Right.
Anyway. Yeah.
And I don't want to replace the men. I really don't. I think the men are here. I mean, we can build, we can go out and get wealth, and we can do that. But the men, they're stronger for a reason. And I think it's physically stronger to protect us, not just from other men but I think they protect us from other energies and other entities. I really do. I think these entities that flood the planet that are evil, some of them would attack a woman, but they won't attack a man. And I think a man is like that covering or that shield from those energies and those entities, that we may not see.
Yeah, I think in addition, I think that, yes, the physical, because this is the thing. If we look at nature, right? The male of a species, they fight, right? And during mating season, they're bucking horns or whatever. What are the women doing? They over there eating grass. Hey, girl, this is good grass, right? Whatever. And they looking at the veg, right? They're not.
Yes.
They're not fighting. And the
No.
women don't fight the male of the same species either. They, unless the children are involved. That's the only time, or besides, the certain spiders and I think, what is it, the octopus, they will, they eat the male after mating, but for the most part, you don't have the female of a species attacking the male. Why? Because each knows its role and its function. And in them, here's the thing about what you said about the men, you have these, the men being in that a natural warrior.
Yes.
Right. That especially, I'm going to say, especially when it's physical, because now in my experience, in them ethers, you don't want to mess with the mama in them ethers, because see, we operate in the darkness. That's what we come.
We are the darkness.
Yes.
Come on.
We are the darkness. We are the divine feminine. And I want to come in and say that since the beginning of time, everything has come from the divine feminine. In that, if you go back to any indigenous culture, if you watch any movie, who do they come to when they need wisdom?
The woman.
Who is the oracle? So we have gotten past who we are. There are some sisters that come to lead. Some sisters come to lead.
That's true.
And in that leadership role, the divine masculine has always been a part of the divine feminine. Always. In any indigenous culture, the most indigenous cultures are always matriarch.
And the man supports the woman's role, right?
The brother, brother and sister. So
let me because I didn't even. I don't want to be rude. OJ Yemi just came in. This is my fairy godmother. Also, because I really wanted to be special, but let's send a prayer, healing prayer out to Sister Myra Moss, because I wanted her to be a part of it tonight as well. She couldn't because she was under the weather. I also wanted Mama Kali. So in the future, I want to do this again. I see some of the guys. Oh man, you falling under the matriarch. From the male's perspective, we need that because, like you said, there's a lot of coward men out there. There's a lot of people that hide. There are a lot of evil stuff behind the word power. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people that are in power are very weak men. You just said all those people in government offices are very weak men, but being powerful men that do evil things under that. So it's a lot of weak people that play under the power, and there's a lot of egos.
But we need them. We need all of that. Seriously, if they didn't exist, we look at things as being good or bad or positive or negative or evil or whatever. But that's a part of that integration. That's a part of what's needed for us to really. Okay, let's go back to the Mayan and the Olmec cosmology. When they turned that wheel, what was the thing? Why were they turning that wheel? They wasn't turning that wheel for the evilness. They were turning that wheel to express their true divine self. So we come to express our true divine self. So without that, how can we express our true divine self? If there's no opportunity for you to see something different, how can you express your true divine self? We can't. That opportunity creates itself so that we can express our true divine self. We might not like how it looks, but it comes to show us where we stand in this great scheme of life. So I go back to the divine matriarch is here. She's never left. We left her. We had to go through that because in being the divine matriarch, we did some things that were out of order. Karma is what it is. And we don't want to say that, but we did do some things. So now we know what not to do because of what we did before. Some sisters don't need it. If we truly look at it, we are divine feminine and we are divine masculine within ourselves.
It's true.
Right.
You can't even understand what it means to honor a brother until you honor the masculine energy within you.
Mm.
The relationship has always been the divine feminine and the divine masculine within each one of us. When we all work from that androgynous point, that's that
Mm.
heart in that mind, and where that takes us, it takes us to the divine self. So I like to tell stories. I had a teacher, indigenous teacher. She knew Matriarch, Mescalero Apache. She had a mate, but her mate knew her role. He stayed home. He took care of the babies, and he let her did her spiritual thing. So sometimes I think that we get caught up into, well, oh, a man is fire, but there are some sisters got some fire too. There are some
I
brothers
Absolutely.
got
agree.
the water element. We all carry an
Right.
element. So we have to know
Mm.
the role. Sure, we as sisters, because we carry a womb, any
Mm.
indigenous culture is going to honor that womb if they truly know who they are. So,
Right.
do
Mhm.
we honor our womb?
Mm.
That's right.
Do we honor what it means to be the divine feminine? I hear sisters say all the time, "Oh, I need a man to lead me." Lead yourself.
That
Because
part
that
right
means you're
there.
looking outside of yourself. You're looking outside of yourself. So,
Mhm.
what is outside is going to give you? So, had a couple today, and I said, we've lost the art of intimacy. We've lost the
Mm.
art of being intimate with each other. We've lost the art of truly understanding that if you have a sister, as High Priestess Maat always says this, if a brother has a sister and their sister knows who she are, do you know what they can achieve together?
Right. Yes. Yes. Mm.
Mhm.
But we look for a brother to lead us, or we look for a brother to do things that we can't do for ourselves. Now, I'm
Mm.
not saying that you have to get up on a roof. I'm not saying that. What, as High Priestess said, we all have a purpose and a destiny and a role. Sometimes
Mhm.
you might come to lead. So you mean to tell me, well, I'm not going to lead because I need a man to lead me? What
Mm.
is your purpose in your destiny? Maybe your purpose in your destiny is to be the spiritual one, to come forth and do what you need to do. So you're not going to do it because what? I
Mhm.
just think we have to understand our purpose and our destiny, what we come to do. And in that, there is no division. We create the
Right.
division. We've
Mhm.
always created the division. But life is so magnificent, especially because as a sister, you carry our shape. We are the creators. We are I don't like to use that word educator, but we teach our children.
Mhm.
We build, we generate, we are the originals. Nothing came before us, everything came through us.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
somebody said something in the comments, and we had this conversation earlier, OJ Yemi. When I told you, I was like, "Yo, I'm so super excited to have everybody on." And Dr. Pruitt is the minister of wealth. She always speaks about money, 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 but not in the sense that, like the brother just said, money is a major issue.
It is.
For me, when we look at the matriarch, you also got to deal with, we don't know what a matriarch. Some people don't know what like the brother was breaking down between a female, a woman, a matriarch. We got a lot of women say, if you don't have money, you're not a man. If you can't do this, you can't. That's and somebody was talking about how we measure the measuring stick, or what do they call it? That finishing line. They keep
Well,
raising the bar that we can't get to it. So
we
you
the
know,
only race of people that talk about currency, like the way we talk about currency.
Wow. Wow.
We are the only race of beings that talk about currency the way we talk about currency.
Mm.
Mhm.
Currency, everything is spiritual, as High Priestess said. If you work from a spiritual state, currency is a flow, it's an ebb and a tide. So currency is gonna be there. We just okay. So they put these entertainers, into people who are on television who maybe have a little currency, but they control that currency. So we
Mm.
feel like that we're supposed to have all this currency. Well, sometimes you might not have to have the currency. Maybe the
Mm.
motherverse will open up the universe and someone will give you the currency, or your currency just flows.
Yes.
Ask how
Mhm.
priestess about that. How sometimes when you're not even looking or you're not even thinking, how it ripens itself to you.
Mm.
But where are you at in this? I'm serious. If you pay attention to other races of beings, they don't talk about currency the way we do.
well, I say this, guys, they might not talk about it out loud, but I guarantee you the Asians teach the Asian kids about currency. The
Oh,
Jews teach the
that's
Jewish kids.
fine.
And
That's
they
fine.
They really
But people
do.
who talk about it don't have it. Seriously.
They live in
Okay,
the
I'm not
private.
saying that
They
you
talk
can't
about
teach
it
it,
privately, and they teach their children from
which
the
you
womb,
should.
so
I
they don't
agree.
have to talk about it
But
publicly.
we should teach our children about currency. We
Yes,
should
ma'am.
teach our children about currency. We should teach our children about that. But also those same Asians that teaching their children about currency is teaching their children about their spirituality also.
Mm.
Let's not forget that.
Well, I'll say this. Like I say, the biggest thing for us is as a man, from the matriarch, y'all speaking from the matriarch's perspective, but to work together for the men, especially when we had this conversation earlier. They said I think 5,000 or maybe more black men just lost their jobs. They don't talk about it, whatever. So my thing is, as far as especially with that ruler saying that we're not enough for black women in general. A lot of women, God said something beautiful on one of her lectures. She said, Dr. Pruitt, they're pushing this. The white man can financially take care of you, but so a lot they're pushing these interracial relationships because of the blood, the birthrights on the land. I
Mhm.
speak to different members. I feel like, what are we here for? If you say one thing about it, and I'm not quoting Moorish or Masonic literature to say that I believe in a whole doctrine, but it says that you're supposed to be 5% spiritual for the perfect balance. You need to be 5% spiritual and 4% material. My job, if all of our ancestors had rubies and all these gemstones, she didn't go out there and go get it. It was us to go out there and go get it. It was always our job to go out there and acquire the wealth, to acquire the
Okay, but
archetypes.
guess what? Those our ancestors were truly spiritual in nature. So guess what? Because they were so spiritual, the motherverse gave unto them. I'm not saying that we're supposed to be poor. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that materialism in the melanated community is first. In the melanated community, it's not about a relationship. This is what I see. If you have a sister who feels like you don't have enough, then that ain't the sister for you. Period.
I said,
Period.
I
So
got
sometimes we are in relationship with people that we shouldn't be in relationships with.
Mm.
That's the first point of order. If you with somebody who's not, what do they call it, equally yoked, or you all aren't on the same path, why are you together? We're always trying to change each other instead of saying, okay, you know what? This is what I bring. This is what you bring. Or where's the happy medium here at? If you read Mimic, it says immortal health and immortal wealth. It comes and it goes. It's the ebb and it's the tide. But sometimes I think that we get so caught up into the wealth piece that we miss everything else. The wealth is going to come. Okay, and those 5,000 men that got laid off, maybe they shouldn't be in corporate America.
ooh,
Seriously.
okay.
Let's look at that.
Yes, ma'am.
How many of us go to these same corporate America jobs, work till we 70, and when they tell us we gotta go, what do we have? Instead of us building, if we all save $1 a day, just think if 500 or 100, 500 of us saved $1 a day. Where would we be in 6 months?
Mm.
And we all pool, and in 6 months we pool that $500 together and say, okay, Mama Callie got land. So okay, we got enough currency. Mama Callie, can we rent some land from you so we could put something on this land? So if we have something, we ain't gotta go to the Europeans to use their place. We got Mama Callie's land and we got a house on Mama Callie's land. So we can come right here and have our spiritual event and the currency stays right here within our own thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
I
And like
say.
I and the funny thing about it, all of us, one thing I've noticed about our people, and I saw a quote today where it says the melanated people in America, they divided us in like these little tiers. You got the so-called FBAs, you got the so-called African American, you got the so-called, well, you got the indigenous American. But we all got different pieces of the puzzle. And that's
Yeah.
beautiful for saying that because for me, I feel like, okay, for us, for young men, the goal for us was the first thing you do, if you want to be successful, you bought Big Mama a house. You know what I'm saying? We lost it. But for the
That was
kids,
it.
sell the house to the kids. So for me, it is all about, yo, we need to fight. And then I met Goddess Maat and yourself, and y'all said the fighting is over. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
Mm.
After I
How
just
you gonna fight?
already.
Who you gonna fight? How you gonna keep fighting them? You ain't gotta fight them. That's just it. They want you to fight. That's what they want.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I tell
here's the thing. Here's my take on it. Here's the thing. In addition to what we're doing now, you mentioned OJ Yemi, you mentioned the the part of our mission statement that says immortal health and immortal wealth. Both of those things, and I know you know this, those things are the wealth is it includes financial wealth, but it's not limited to that. The wealth is also, and it's whatever wealth is emotional, physical,
Mm-hmm.
spiritual. And then let's say this whole system goes, right? And money no longer spent. Now what is financial wealth? And then because see, a lot of things are valued by money now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anybody, whoever got the money, they run it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's not necessarily true. There are people, if everybody understands their roles and their position, some people.
Oh, they had to shut it down for that one. She was giving it to him.
Mm.
I'll say.
Okay,
Let's go.
I found in in my organization, there are people who understand their role. Like they may have more access to financial capital, but they don't come in trying to run it because they understand that that's their role in their position.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, they are here to provide that particular thing because that might change over time. What if no longer now if you no longer we no longer need the money or you no longer have the money, then now what's your role?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the spiritual, the mental, the emotional wealth, if you build up wealth on all levels. Now I'm not saying leave out the financial, because I know for a long time I had been trying to figure that out, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I took it away and then now I had to put it back in. Right. Because it's about having the whole balance. Because now if you don't have if you no longer need to have all this money, but you got everything on point. You got it on point physically, you got it on point spiritually, you got it on point mentally, then you literally do have immortal wealth, because at any time you can trade those things in and out for however you need it and with any environment.
Mm-hmm.
Silver, gold, and copper are spiritual. As you know, it's not, it's not necessarily just money. It is wealth. But
Mm-hmm.
what I taught my grandchildren, this is a part of your culture. It is spiritual. It heals you. We've always had silver, gold, and copper as indigenous peoples. We
Mm-hmm.
actually, people say you can't eat it. Actually, you can.
Huh?
Colloidal and monatomic, colloidal
Yeah.
monatomic silver actually heals you. They don't like you to say
Mm-hmm.
heal or cure, but it does. We
Mm-hmm.
have silver receptors in our brain.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Copper helps heal your joints and pain. And doctors
Mm-hmm.
used to actually they tell you to instruct you to wear copper when you had
Mhm.
joints that were in pain.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Doctors have created these silver healing modalities to deal with brain eating amoebas. So I teach
Mm-hmm.
my grandchildren is that silver and gold are spiritual elements that you use to help you with your ascension. It helps you to open up the pineal gland. It helps you to raise your crown chakra. In fact, the reason why they call COVID corona was because they were actually saying that we have gone into a new era. Corona means crown, as in gold, as in crown chakra, as in ascending in consciousness. We wore gold because it literally helped us to ascend in consciousness, because we vibrated on the God frequency, because we are gods. And because, it healed us, it cured us. We had psychic powers. We were able to fight off and ward off spirits. We were able to keep viruses from attacking us. So when they had the coronavirus, they were actually saying we've entered the age of corona. The crown chakra is being activated. We have to do something to stop this. They later called it COVID, but they were really speaking in coded messages to each other. So they try to have another reset where they unalive as many people as possible, or I'll say murder. Excuse me, I don't want to say that word. I don't want it to get flagged, but they want to get rid of us. Right. So they were really speaking to each other. So I teach my grandchildren is not money. It's wealth. It's spirituality. It's healing. It's whatever is metaphysical. And I tell my grandchildren too, that's what the second coming of Christ really was about. In my humble opinion, my very strong opinion, not even a humble opinion. I mean, you know, the second coming of Christ, the trumpet will sound. And I think Donald Trump in this era is that trumpet, because you know, as we grew up in the Hebrew tradition, you you blew the trumpet or the shofar at the beginning of New Moon, beginning of Sabbath, beginning of feast day, when the king and announced the king coming in. When there was a war, it was to sound an alarm and make an announcement. The trumpet will sound in Revelations. Trump is that trumpet. It will sound. Christ will come back for a second coming. The dead in Christ will rise first, and then those that are alive and remain will be caught up to meet him in the air. The trumpet is sounding. The Christos consciousness, the second coming of Christ, is rising. The people are awakening. We have this is the Corona era. We're ascending in consciousness. We're walking in our God selves. And the dead in Christ, those that didn't know what was going on, that were completely unawake, the dead in Christ are rising first. They're waking up. And those of us that are alive and remain, we're being caught up to meet the Christ consciousness in the air. And then the scripture goes on to say that in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, we shall be changed. We're moving into an era where our bodies are becoming more crystalline. Silver, gold, and copper helps you to become more crystalline. If you drink out of copper, you're making your body more crystalline. If you take monoatomic gold, monoatomic silver, you're keeping all the viruses and sicknesses away. You're becoming more crystalline. When you have gold and silver and all these precious metals and jewels around you and stones, as Brother Orisha Stone talks about, you have that helps you to vibrate on such a high frequency. You ward off the devil, the enemy, low frequencies, all of that. That's why they stole the wealth from us. So,
but also it's called melanin.
Melanin, yes. Mother.
They also wore those because of the melanin in our skin.
I love that.
They were so wise that copper, that silver, copper, sulfur, and iron. Carbon really makes up melanin. So because they knew that I love how Priestess Maat calls it. She says that the tombs should have never been touched. They wore that because they wrapped themselves in, should I say, fine linen and herbs and selenite, because they were coming back for those bodies. They wore those crystals and those jewels and those stones to enhance their melanin. We are melanated beings. It's the melanin, it's that dark matter. It's that that gives us the black hole, gives us that energy, or that, should I say, that God conscious. I don't even like to use that word. Divinity. Because we're not God. We are divine. We're sacred. So God is the word that they gave us to use. But when we look at it, we have a divinity. So that's why they really wore, because of melanin. So when they wore those, the gold and the silver, it increased their melanin. So when we really understand what melanin is, we understand who we are. What did Dr. Richard Thomas call it? He called it the black dot.
Does anybody know Ipanema? Do y'all know Ipanema by any chance?
No, Ipanema.
I'm so sorry. I pressed the wrong button. I was trying to pin her comment, and I actually accidentally banned and removed her comments. Ipanema. So if anybody knows her, please let her know. Please let her know to try to find me, so I don't know how I can fix that at all. But I'm sorry for the wisdom. I just
and I love
Dr. Pruitt, I have a question. Oh, excuse me. OJ, you were saying something. Oh, I have a question, because I've been looking at that piece that you wear. What is that, silver on your first eye?
Yes, ma'am. Silver and gold.
Ooh, okay. I'm loving it.
Thank you.
I
Thank
love
you.
it.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And then I have
So,
Orisha Stone's piece that he gifted me. Oh
oh
my God, I
well,
just
yes.
love
Mm,
it. He has to tell me it
beautiful.
looks like a goddess right here, and it's I think it's is this 14 or 24 karat gold
It's
and
for
copper,
yes, ma'am.
and then this
24.
is 24 karat gold on the back. And then I have
Mm.
these. Can you tell him what the name of these stones are? My grandson is it aquamarine, grandson? What?
There's citron,
Citron.
um turquoise.
What the
Cit-
hell?
I don't know, but
He studies stones in his personal time.
I know that yellow one.
Good.
The yellow one is citrine, and then this one is I think this is aquamarina. He's so when,
I started it off with turquoise. I gave you Persian turquoise. You're always talking about foreign currencies and things of that nature. I really like him. He's a star seed, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's understanding the power of sacred tools. I gave you citrine for abundance and prosperity. You're minister of wealth. You always
thank
talk about prosperity and everything. So I gave you citrine and turquoise. Turquoise as the melanated mortals and OJ Yemi and High Priestess always telling us about returning to the land, returning to the ancestors. Turquoise connects us to the ancestors.
oh
Persian
wow.
turquoise is right in it, which also goes great with like she was saying about sulfur, but also goes great with the citrine. So it brings
Mhm.
prosperity, good luck, abundance. The turquoise helps you communicate with your ancestors. We can tell you channel, so it helps that channel go easier when you're communicating with your ancestors.
That's
Um,
beautiful.
turquoise and jade for us to be the Americans, or whatever you want to call us for today. You know what I'm saying? Today vocabulary. Those are very powerful in our spiritual tools.
And
And,
not
Mhm.
only that, the turquoise has sulfur and iron in it.
yes,
What we
ma'am.
need for melanin.
And
So
copper.
so what you also teach when you working when he's working with the minerals, have him learn the minerals from the perspective of what our body needs. There's this
Okay.
brother named Roz Benz, and
Okay.
well, Richard Stone had him on the show, but he brings the minerals from the perspective. He brings the minerals from the perspective of what the minerals have in them.
Mm.
He talks about the plant kingdom and the mineral kingdom. He says if you need um, selenium, you will use selenite
Mm.
because selenite increases the selenium. If you
Okay.
need there's a iron hematite.
Mm.
Good for the
So
blood.
we wasn't taught to look at the minerals, the crystals from that perspective, but he does.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So it also carries a property, but it also carries a mineral. The food that we eat. I tell people when you're craving a certain food, what is
Mm-hmm.
that mineral that food has that your body needs?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
just gotta say this about Donald Trump. No offense, I don't care what people say. I like Donald Trump. You know why I like him? He tells the truth. And we
Yes.
don't want the truth. He said
Yeah.
what? He said, y'all looking to what? Listen to what? That fake news?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He said when he got COVID, he said, oh, tell them to give y'all what they gave me. What he say? Y'all,
Mm.
I don't pay taxes. Why do y'all pay taxes?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I'm saying is when the truth is being brought to us, we don't want to hear the truth. So
Come
we
on.
want to, everything comes to show us who we are. I go back to
Mm.
the Mayans turning that wheel. I am so thankful and grateful that I found Mimic. I am so thankful and grateful that I found Sister Nikki's
Mm.
I can't pronounce it, human, because I don't have to
Synchronicity.
depend on something outside of myself.
Mm-hmm.
When I got my galactic signature, I understood who OJ Yemi was.
Mm.
I no longer had to depend on something outside of myself. I now knew that I had a sister and a family in the community. He talked about unity. Who we wait, it's not putting anybody down, but we're lifting, raising people up, raising our community up. So when we can do this, when we just think every race of beings that were in power all had one conscious thing. They all had that spiritual thing going. So that's what I'm trying to say is that the Mayans and the Olmec every day they turned that wheel. Every day they had an opportunity to express. the creator. So if all of us is reading our signature, where's the war? Where's the conflict? Where's the fight?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it won't exist, but you know, where the more are reading, the more it shifts and it changes everything about you. So if we want to shift and a change, then we have to be the change that we want. And as sistering, we carry that front of being the change that we want. Now,
Yes.
will everybody be it? No. But to the ones that are, we hold the bloodstained banner. We stand on the shoulders of the star people. We're the rainbow people. We stand on the shoulders of our ancestors, sisters who have walked before us, who
Yes.
paved the way so we could be here.
Mm-hmm. I say.
Ashe.
We carry a power that's unbelievable. But we just carry an ashe, and I just wish that each sister would understand the ashe that she carries. When you can birth life, when you can carry I take my hat off to any sister that leads, that has a group of sistering or brethren that leads, because that takes the responsibility. That's saying that I have to give up some things of myself. I have to give up a part of myself, a part of my family, to assist another soul, to assist another group of beings. But I'm doing this out of love. And
Yes.
guess what? The motherverse is going to make sure that you all eat.
Sure.
Ashe.
I think you hear me. I think you already answered the question, but I'm gonna go back to it. The guy that said, "Help me understand how the loss of employment and economic security of 300,000 Black women figures into perspective of returning power back to us, the transition of power." Now, just so I can say something real quick,
Go ahead.
like I say, that's why I want to be financially right. That's why I want to be wealthy, so we don't have to worry about the different things like that. That's why I fight for wealth, because you got us like this and said, well, how does this? If they fire me, we had got us when they stopped the food stamps, got us and said, what we gonna do? Well, we gonna set it up and we gonna make sure y'all eat. When we say we gonna go out there and garner and plant these seeds and grow the foods, when we're talking to these other gardeners about the seed, when we say, I think that's empowering us, because guess what? Once you stop eating at Olive Garden, once you stop eating at all these other restaurants, they took all these illusions and feeding you poison and feeding you salt and feeding everything that's gonna kill you. Well, maybe I'm explaining long because I know people that when you're in financial crisis, we're not thinking like, oh, man, forget what you're talking about. How am I pay these bills? Wait a minute. We just said Goddess Maat got land. We just said Dr. Kia got land. We just said Mama Kali got land. You see what I'm saying? And that's just to name a few. There's so many of us out here. This is the only reason the show is important, to connect the dots. You know what I'm saying? We got the Council of Khalifa. We got all these different people that are really trying to come together. So how would y'all answer this question? Help me to understand how the loss of employment and economic security of 300,000 Black women figures into the perspective of returning power back to us, transitional power. Who would like to have that first?
I don't mind.
I'll go last.
So, yeah, I think that it's something interesting that happens when what it's going to do is project that energy, that divine feminine energy or that matriarchal energy out. Sometimes what happens, and we know this, we've all had the experience, right? When you are in a position of comfort, you become comfortable. And you may not, many a times, like I look at all of the things that I've gone through to get to this point, and when I can say, you know what, I know why I didn't have this then, because if I did, I wouldn't be able to, like, I wouldn't, I've the books that I've written, I wouldn't have written those books if I hadn't gone through certain we want to call it a so-called crises, but now moving from the war language, saying these adventures that I've had, right? If I didn't have that adventure, I wouldn't be able to have written a book. So what I think, this is just a perspective, that's a large number. And if you look at the energy that what's going to happen with those women coming, or the people who are now uncomfortable because they have unemployment. A great majority of them, not all of them, they're not about to go live in cars and, whatever. It's going to project something out.
Mm-hmm.
And that energy, even though we may not think is unified, we are just like trees. We have a mycelium network that connects us all. So it's going to project this energy to this one and the next one and the next one and the next one, that's going to spark something that we've been talking about this whole session.
Mm-hmm.
That it's sparking something new, a new way in which we are going to be operating. That's my perspective on it. I'm going to let them go ahead and
well, we were never supposed to be dependent upon the government anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We're never supposed to be working for any corporation. We're free, sovereign beings. Neither were we supposed to be receiving any benefits from anybody. So this is going to enable us actually to take care of ourselves and our families and our communities. Now, where those of us who are listening to Brother Orisha Stone, to High Priestess, getting land, to Mama talking about, other wealth and relationships, all of us that are aligning with everything we're teaching today, we are preparing for that new reality. Okay, so we will take care of ourselves, our families, and our communities. Then you have other things that are here, like the Sovereign Wealth Fund that Donald Trump created as soon as he came back in 2025. The Sovereign Wealth Fund is comprised of rare earth minerals, precious metals, stocks, bonds, land, oil, all these resources. And he said, we're going to be using these to rebuild the infrastructure, to invest in the people, and to invest outwardly. So the Sovereign Wealth Fund is something that's going to fund everybody, as well as the Nasara and Jasara, and I've talked about those benefits. I can do that another time, or if somebody asks me the benefits. So the benefits of Dasara will literally do away with debt completely. It will do away with the government that's enslaved us in all 444 government agencies. And we're going to have access to our birth certificate bond, which is, was created at birth. As well as you have the Rodriguez Trust Fund, you have the Saint Germain Trust, and I know the woman that's over this Rodriguez Trust Fund. I've had her on my show. You have all these trust funds where these ancient dynasties have been accumulating wealth, even ancient indigenous dynasties, for this time period right now, to push forward the new golden era to make sure the whole planet is wealthy. Now I'll lead into a segue into something that makes a lot of women angry. That's why I just smiled and tried to be quiet. The reason why 300,000 women being loose from their job is a good thing is because a lot of women said, I don't need a man. I don't want a man as long as I got my job. I got my bag. I'm a rich bee. I got the government benefits. I got food stamps, welfare. I got this and that. I got a bag. I don't have to work with the divine masculine. A lot of women, not everybody. And so what that did is that created an imbalance, that created children who are angry, that created children who are in the street, that created, see, I was a teacher too, that created children who don't like the divine masculine, that created women who push forward certain agendas and ideologies and their daughters. And so now, guess what? Now that we can't get it a bag all by ourselves, you know what? A lot of people are saying, I need to get married, or even be in covenant. I need to go back to my child's father. I need to get into a relationship, a covenant relationship. I need to align with the divine masculine. See, women don't like to hear that because we want a bag. We want our money. We want to be the boss chick. We want to, 100,000, 300,000 of us got laid off. So what that going to mean for you is either you're going to get with the divine masculine and work in harmony with each other, or you're going to enjoy the wealth that you actually accumulate for yourself or that you receive from your community, and you're going to build upon that. Because we keep thinking about ourselves and we're not thinking about the children.
Okay, Yemi, before you go, I want to say this. Each one of y'all has a super talent. I'm not just talking about the pounder. I'm talking about every one of y'all has a super. Whether you're an artist, whether you knit like crochet, whether you mess with crystals, the mineral world alone is going over the head when you talk about bricks and they say the mineral world. Being yourself will be a currency. If you love gemstones and you're in the Carolinas, you can be selling amethyst right now. If you're in Arkansas, you can get into the quartz business right now. If you in South Carolina, you can be selling rubies and sapphire right now. That's a business. Let's go deeper. Can you carve the stone? Can you fashion the stone? Can you wire wrap the stone? Because health is wealth. And like Goddess OJ Yemi said, each one, that's just a small aspect. That's just one job. We need healers. We need healers. Health is wealth. That means if you had all this time in the medical industry where they tell you about these two serpents, and now you're merging their corporate knowledge, because that is still knowledge. You've had over 20, 30, whatever amount of years you've been in it. Now you get to implement this into the new phase where you're going to be. We need y'all to be the leadership. I can't run a hospital. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people when they run their hospitals, they want to know how can they keep you coming back? Wait a minute, we're gonna destroy that when y'all get into herbs. So guess what? If you get into herbs, that means somebody got to grow the sage, somebody got to grow the mugwort, somebody got to grow the soursop. And all those things grow in different places. We just gave you a job right there. Soursop leaves. You can sell soursop leaves. You ain't gonna sell the fruit. That heals. Make spas, make well springs. We get the sonic machines that draw unwanted metals or toxic metals out of your body. They create. Go back into your, and I'm sorry for going my little attention, but go back to your talent. Where's the live music? Who does music? Where's the music at? We want to talk about our culture. We need to take our music back.
Yes.
If you're in poetry, bring the spoken word back. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing but air and opportunity, I'll say.
And not only that, show me 300,000 women got laid off. Show me that.
Once
again, the media is going to make you think the worst of all things. And we participate in the worst of all things because that's what they give us. Do you know when Walter Cronkite, whatever his name was saying that he was traveling, had a trench coat on in another room. That's a known fact. But what I'm saying is, I'm like, we have an innate talent. We have an innate knowing in us. So I'm like the sister, how Priestess Maat and Dr. Pruitt said, this is an opportunity for us to have our own.
Absolutely.
This is an opportunity for us to step in and go in. I don't believe in anything that the government gives you. I don't believe in that. Because as truly as they give it, there's going to come a time where they can take it. And we were never supposed to be in corporate America anyway, but we did. Okay, so they set it up. So now let's return back.
Yes.
Go back to the $1 day. If all of us saved $1 a day, where will we be? Do you know every other race of beings, what they do is they say their currency, and they come and they all live together. Say that currency, and then when they build for each other, then okay, and then that's how they do. In the South, you remember in the South when we all lived in the South, and one family would come up, and then they would get established, and we would bring the next family.
Yes.
This is now where we depend on each other.
You know, Mother, I was just telling my children, and I have my babies, my boy, one of my sons is an economist, so he's been screaming this for a long time. But we had a family session. I was like, a lot of families are not really broke when you think about it. We have a lot of spending power. If they took all the spending that so-called African Americans did and put it together, we would be the ninth richest, wealthiest nation in the world. But just think about your own family, okay? If you have one husband and one unit, whether it's just a single parent or two of you, and you have 4 children, let's say you have 4, there's 5 of you that's spending out at least $5,000 a month per household just to keep that household running. That's $25,000 per month. 20. That's That's a lot. Nobody that I know makes $25,000 per month. You know, so that's well, if everybody just, and I know everybody say they can't live together, but if you live together in the same under the same roof or on the same land and put that money together, can you imagine what we could do with that?
Yes.
That is. When I say
Yes.
I don't want to cut your wisdom.
I'm
I
done.
live right next door to some Mexicans or Hondurans or whatever you want to call them. It's a 3-2 next door. It's 15 Mexican men that stay in it. Did you hear? It's 15 Mexican men stay in that one. Across the street, that's also their family. There's about 10 more plus some kids. I don't really know. I don't stay out their business, right? I just say that to say, you know what I'm saying? I just say that to say it's weird how our ego is a spell against us that we talking about. We can't even live in a like you said, we're actually wealthy. Think about the rest of the world. The rest of the world has a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. We are so spoiled. We need the extra bathroom with the 2 sinks. You see what I'm saying? Luxury is our culture. Luxury is our culture. We don't acknowledge it because we want more. We need more.
We've been told that.
They're moving the pole. You know what I'm saying? So, wow. I'm sorry. Go ahead, guys. Go back. I'm sorry.
There's a book called there's a YouTube channel called How to Sell to the Negro.
Ooh.
And it says the Negro wants the best. The Negro won't buy the second or used. The Negro wants the best. I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna send it out. How to sell to the Negro.
You know, we just came from we do retreats every solstice and every equinox, and we rented out an Airbnb, and it was nice. It was luxury or whatever, but you know, we're going through withdrawal because we had that community. You know, we got used to just coming downstairs and you know, and you know, there was a couple who they do the food and they made the food, and then we would do the fire, and then the children were just running around. And I lived like this before, and it was it's such a it feels natural. It feels like that's how it should be. And I remember every dawning I come downstairs, I said, this is how it should be every day.
Yes.
We should always, it should be multiple families in one unit or on one land, and we all come together and, you know, somebody cooks, somebody takes care of the children. You never have to worry about childcare. You never have to worry about security. You never have to worry about anything because everybody is just always there, and it's kind of like this natural thing that is natural cohesion that happens. And I mean that's the way to live. You know, and I love what you said, Dr. Pruitt, about that. That if even the families, if you just think about you have, you know, sometimes you might have you know, somebody that's struggling or whatever, but then everybody else in the family has so much, but everybody's afraid to you know, kind of come together under that, under, you know, just saying, hey, why don't we just put everything together, and then, you know, everybody can be taken care of, because this society teaches us that we should, you know, be separate, and everybody, you know, you have to have, your house has to be bigger than your sisters or your brothers, or, you know, or whatever, and, you know, and you don't even use all of it, you know, so.
It's true. That's true.
Y'all are amazing tonight. Thank each and every one of you. OJ Yemi, thank you for popping in. Please send healing energies and prayers to Goddess Starseed. Her she's in and out the hospital with her mother right now. Please send her prayers, healing prayers to Sister Myra Moss. Send success prayers to Dr. Kira Pruitt, OJ Yemi, Melody the Mortals, High Priestess, Maat. And thank you to everybody that showed me love over the weekend, man. My phone fell in the water, so when I did get my phone, it was so many people showing me love and doing all sorts of other things. Like she said, you don't understand. They have land for sale right here at our springs. You see what I'm saying? Goddess, you're in Jacksonville. Jacksonville is holy land. That's why they strive to keep everybody in Jacksonville slow. Jacksonville is holy land. You see what I'm saying? God said that Florida is the finish line. You know what I'm saying? He said for a reason. We talking about the springs, when we talking about the Garden of Eden is an hour and a half away from me right now. I stay at Tallahassee. You see what I'm saying? We got so many mountains all around here. Like the guy that just said, imagine going out there and your job is to wake up in the rising and go till the land. There's nothing wrong with that. Potatoes pretty much grow itself. Okra pretty much grows itself. If you don't know, tap into guys so sophisticated from Philadelphia, who she's growing in the concrete jungle. She's putting her hand in the dirt and growing green crops out of a concrete jungle.
Wow.
She's growing food. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different things when we understand it's so much to this where we don't have to be scared. We don't have to live in fear. I want to live in wealth. Listen, the goddess OJ Yemi, she was being nice because that's what the matriarch gonna do. She gonna give it to us with the honey. She said get $1 a day. I speak to the matriarch. I'm gonna punch her in their chest. I want 100 a day. You need to get $100 a day. You need to buy some silver, put it up. You need to make sure your big mama's straight. Make sure the kid. I need your kids to have 20 ounces of silver. If each shot you have right now, silver is low. Go get your kids 20 ounces of silver. If you're not doing that, there's no sense in talking about no cheap talk. We're not talking.
Don't buy them no Jordans.
Yeah, y'all buy Jordans. Come on now. If you come to me about you're cheap, you got all the Jordans and all the rims and all the damn the nice goofy shirts. And you know what I'm saying? You're a beta male in this new reality. And I'm calling them out for what they are. Is a lot of people calling themselves chiefs. There's a lot of chiefs, no Indians.
Right.
Go get your 100 ounces of silver for your first trust. Go get your wife 100 ounces of silver. You can't be a chief if you're not with the matriarch. Another thing, we talking about we can't live together. Maybe we living with the wrong family because we started talking about the physical family. Maybe we need to build more societies with our spiritual families. That might go that way. You know what I'm saying? Spiritually, and that means we getting what's the word, vetted before we even come into the community. We can't let everybody in the community. We don't need nothing else. The same thing that learn from the mistakes of our past elders, regardless of what any mistake they made. I'm gonna learn from what happened in Georgia with Malachi New York and in his community. You get because the same thing that happened to him was the same thing that happened to Karen 13X.
Well, I say what happened to him is when you have power, when you have knowledge, it gives you power. And if you don't know how to harness that, it goes the other way. So you have to know how to, the more knowledge you receive, the more you meditate, the more you get, the more wisdom you get. And if you don't know how to use that power and that wisdom and that knowledge, it can pervert you. But character is very important. We keep forgetting about character. So when you have all of this and you don't have character,
you can't get
Mayat. There's a lot of things you'll do.
You know,
not only that, see, when you are studied, people study your weaknesses. They know what you like, and they're going to bring you what you like.
That's so true.
So you have to see everything plays a part. So, and I say this to say, I don't think it's right at all, but to have an untouched child is that thing for them is, I don't know what it means or why they do that, but trust me, not only did the outside influence, but the inside people too. So they use whoever they can to get what they want. Why would you bring your daughter? Why would you give your daughter? You know, we played a role in that too. Just wasn't the outside people. Everything is about character. And if you don't have, if your character is flawed.
And you know, Mother, I heard him say once that he never messed with children. He said, now I love the women now, but you could say I love the women, but I never mess with children. But here's the thing about integrity. Just because you can do something don't mean you should.
That's right.
You might love the women, but if you know that you need to control your penis and have some discipline and integrity, that's what you need to do. Because if women is your weakness, like you said, Mama, then that's what they're gonna send to you. If you say I'm a leader and I'm building something big, you need to have dignity and integrity.
Yes.
Just because you can lay with all the women don't mean you need to. And I'm really tired of this rhetoric of men saying, well, it's in my nature to do this, that, and the third. It's in my nature to have more than one woman. Well, it's in a woman's nature to want to generate a whole bunch of different seeds and a whole bunch of different body types, a whole bunch of I mean, they try to tell us what's in our nature. They don't know what's in our nature. I might be with you, but I decided to stay with you and to be honest with you and to be faithful to you. But if I see a giant that's 7 foot tall, I might want to have his child too. That's in my nature. But when I'm a woman of integrity and honor, I'm going to honor the vow that I made with you. So it can be in your nature. We're all animals or mammals. We can all do whatever we want to do, but we need to learn how to control our body parts. I'm really getting tired of this rhetoric. Nobody said that on a panel. Well, we need to free this person and free that person. And, they're the master teacher and they're this. Learn to control your penis. Learn to have some integrity. You a leader? See, but we give men an out because, he's just being a man, boys will be boys. No, if you say you're a leader, act like one and have some discipline. That's just Dr. Kia Pruitt speaking. Yeah. And I told you,
we have to teach our sons.
Thank you, Mama.
We have to be the ones to teach our sons about that. We have to teach our sons and our daughters about that. And I go back to Mimic again.
Yes.
We just did a Unity Act 24 about that.
We did. I think if we were not in this war consciousness, this whole world is about war, conflict, conquering, and being in deficit. And if that was not the energy, then it would be easier for that to be under control. I remember I had a conversation with one of these men, and I asked, why do you need this so much and like that? And why is it, and they couldn't really answer the question. Is because it's in my nature. But I think that what if it wasn't? What if it wasn't about the conquering? What if it wasn't about being in war? And a lot of times, and I'm going to go with, Dr. Pruitt, when you were talking about the role that the women play in this, a lot of times the women support these things.
Yes.
And so I think that that's part of the reason why it's allowed. Right? If women didn't allow certain things, it would not happen. There is the men can't really do the things unless we allow it, right? That's so true. If this is your son, if this is your nephew or whatever, because we the mamas, we would just, how they show the mama say, "Oh, not my baby wouldn't do that," right? And so we say, well, okay. We don't want our baby to, have the consequences of the actions. But it's interesting if we do watch. A lot of times people don't think about maybe, I don't know if anyone has really, really looked at this. I notice it myself. Let me keep it on me. Because I'll be real honest. I have a son and a daughter. My son is older, and my daughter is younger. I believe I'm harder on my daughter. Than I am on my son.
We always are.
Right? And it may be opposite for men. Men may be harder on their sons than their daughters. But I can see, because I can observe it in myself, I can see how, not to say that I would allow it, because, I'm good at observing so that I'll know, how these things develop, how we save our sons from having those consequences.
One, that got pushed on us too, and we don't acknowledge that. It wasn't accepted by the women; it was pushed on us by the women. A woman straight told me one time out her own mouth. She asked me, she said, I'm so serious. I was young-minded and I fell for it. An older woman said, "Oh, you cute." how many baby mamas you got? I said, what? Oh, she said, you must be trash in bed. You must be trash. Did you hear me?
Oh,
You're right. A lot of people introduce young men to sex and different things at very young age.
I
We
heard
don't
about that.
consider that at all. We don't consider that at all. Not only that, y'all want to teach the boys about sex because you and everybody say the women need to teach them. No, the men should have taught them because the first thing we did was push the man out. So you had to teach the boys about sex. We didn't want you to teach us about sex. A lot of things we were taught a lot about sex too. Now, also, I'll also say this, and like I'm speaking from my perspective. When we had nothing, the woman said we were not worthy of love. We were not worthy of companionship when we had nothing.
Yeah.
I'm talking to a bunch of men that if we didn't have enough, y'all took the goalposts. We don't have enough. So when we do get it, who are you to tell somebody that we weren't even worthy of your love a second ago, that I still only have one woman after I get, because if I can take care of it, then I'm gonna take care of it.
Yeah, I now see. I agree with that.
The
I
life,
agree.
the life expectancy rate of a black man is short, so sometimes our patience and attention span is shorter. So yeah, we want to have heaven here and heaven here, whatever, and that's not nothing that we pushed out there. Polygamy's been for the beginning of time. A lot of people don't deserve it, but I feel like it's a badge of. I do feel like it's a badge of honor. I can take care of whatever I can take care of. Nobody had no complaints. I know when I had nothing, I got nothing. And we're talking about generations of no love, no hugs. The second finances go wrong, she's gone. A lot of women are gone. Listen, I can go
Well,
somewhere.
that's because we don't educate our sons. I raised
Mm.
2 sons, and they will tell you, I didn't let them date. Oh no. If we're in our, how can someone 14, 13, what would they have an understanding about dating?
I agree with you.
So I didn't allow my
100%.
sons to date.
I
We
didn't
can go
either.
out and y'all can be friends and y'all can have a, that's no.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do that.
mm,
Because if that's
Yeah.
too much pressure for me,
It
I
is,
felt.
Mama.
So I
It is.
taught them about when you have sexual intercourse with someone, you're giving a part of yourself to that person. So think about, and I just told them, think about that. Now, what they did when they left is their business, but they would tell you,
Mm-hmm.
oh no, I didn't play. I had to be stronger than the streets.
Yeah.
mm,
So we had
mm,
morals and we had principles. We ate dinner together. We did things together as a family. But not
Mm.
only that, my mother helped. When I say we lived together, we did.
I love
And
it.
right now, me and my 3 sisters and my brother, we live together. Because I'm telling you, when you do that, it creates the family unit. It creates a different,
mm,
as my high priestess Maya said, it gives you that energy of, how should I say, building something together where
Mm-hmm.
you can
unity.
conserve together. And when there's more than one person building, it lasts. So
Mm,
it's how we raise our children. If
I
we
agree,
didn't
Mama.
teach our children morals, our children don't have morals anymore.
that's
When we
Mm.
right.
grew up, the whole block raised you. Big
That's
mama,
right.
nana, mud dear, auntie so and so, uncle so.
Mm-hmm.
We did
Mm-hmm.
things together as a family unit. When we restore the family back, we always that's old days. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
agree.
So as far as the men polygamy, if that's what you in, I don't care what a person
I
does in
don't
their
one
home.
thing about it. I don't push polygamy. First off, I don't want to seem like I'm the advocate for anything.
No. But if okay, what I'm trying to say is, look, if it's working for you, why not? I don't
Do
have a
it in
problem one way
honor.
or the other.
If you're
Because
worthy of it, if you're worthy of it, one,
Worthy of.
two.
nobody
Thanks.
said who's
Okay.
worthy of what.
Well, no,
This
no,
is what I'm
that's what the
this is
person.
what I'm
When the
gonna
tribe,
say.
when you
If
have a
you're
tribe,
treating everybody well and everybody's getting along well, I don't have
yes,
a problem with that. That's none of
well,
my business
tribe,
anyway. But what
they
I'm
have a
saying is that
point.
sometimes we date the wrong people. And
Mm.
whether it's a sister or a brother, when that person comes before you, you know who comes before you. But if they fine, if they
Hey,
got some
Janine.
currency, you're gonna overlook all of that because it's what you want. You
Mm.
made that decision. And then when a person come out to be a booger bear, then you mad.
Real quick, somebody in the comments said that we're about material things, or me. I hear that a lot. I'm all about the materialistic and everything else. And I also heard about about some people that have it. But one thing about silver, I've noticed we don't acknowledge this a lot. When we even get into the silver, silver keeps a lot of those evil, low vibrational spirits out of our frequency anyway. A lot of
Yeah.
people could talk about certain things, but when I speak about the tribe, if our tribes, if Melanin Immortal says that, yo, if you're part of this tribe, it is your responsibility. We have rights and everything else, responsibilities. You have action, you act of unity. It is your responsibility. If you want to be a part of our tribe, you can't come in empty-handed. You have to. That proves your level of worth. You came in here with knowledge. We understand your mental, and I need you to come in here with 100 ounces of silver. Guess why? That shows your worth as somebody to the tribe. I think we need that. Men need a rites of passage, and we've taken that away from them, saying everybody's allowed. You get the trophy for a participation reward. No, if they not, guess what? In the tribes, in the Olmec, in the Mayan, in whatever tribe, in the Dahomey, in the Dogon, we have rites of passage for men, and we have to have our rites of passage, and we have to have concrete and stone for us to get there. Because to get it, you have to go through something to get it. It's not going to come easy. I don't care. And in that coming to get, that's when you learn integrity. That's when you learn appreciation. That for the men, I'm not here to teach a woman. That's why I asked y'all to be here, Matriarch Monday. I'm here to the men need to understand who we're looking at when we're dealing with the matriarch. You know what I'm saying? I'm not pandering to the goddesses and nothing. I understand your work just like the silver and everything else. I think it's our job. Everyone they talk about our toys and everything else. Yeah, I'm gonna go get it, and then when I go get it, my job is to make it look nice. Yep, you know what I'm saying? This is far from a toy if you know how to use it, because guess what? This silver, that necklace that you have, that scarab beetle that you have, that gold that you have in your neck right now, that Persian turquoise, with everything that's going on in the world right now, you have a piece of history right now. They don't call it Iranian turquoise. It's just so funny that it's Persian turquoise for a reason. It tells your whole history.
Wow.
With the person said that our toys and things of that nature and materialistic. No, I'm talking about our spiritual tools. It's our responsibility to get that back. You know what I'm saying?
Everything in nature, if we just take any materialism, take money, whatever. If you just sit on your back porch and you watch squirrels and birds, they are. It seems like we would call what they do working, right? Because what do? They're going out, they getting leaves, they're bringing it back, or whatever. They're doing all of this stuff. That just happens naturally. So, it's the judgment on things that make community. Everybody is going to put in whatever their function or their role is, or the thing that they do. They're going to put that into the community. It's actually very natural to do that. If you just take a bunch of children and you put them in a playground, they're going to start, if somebody starts building something, right? One of them is going to go over there and get some rocks. They're going to be like, "Ooh, let's put this right here. And let's put this right here." It just happens naturally. So the judgment is the thing that says, hey, it's materialistic, or it's, it's capitalistic, it's this, it's that, or whatever.
But we don't have the same when it comes to the white man that y'all want to work for, that you respect so much. If a black man gets materialistic, when a Jewish man got it, we're not enough. When the white man got it, we're not enough. How do y'all keep flipping the measuring stick?
Well, that's not all of us. That's just some of us. We ain't gonna worry about them. We don't. They gotta do what they gotta do. Let them do what they gotta do. But to the ones who are following the truth, that's who we honor. We honor them all. We keep the sacred space because we were at. I'm like high priestess. I don't. I wasn't who I am always. I had to get here. I had to go through some things to arrive here. So I one time was on a frequency of everybody else. But you see, when you have a purpose and a destiny, when you come to do something, eventually you'll get past wherever you are. I've left trail of tears. I've hurt people. So all of that. But going forth, my attention is on clearing up all karma, lifting and keeping my sister and my brother in harmony. So what I'm saying is that we have to keep the sacred space for those who haven't arrived yet.
That's
That don't
right.
mean that they can't, and that they mean not
That's
that they
right.
want, because
That's it.
everybody has the road of redemption is open to everybody.
That's
Mm.
right.
But I
That's
say this
right.
again: if you have someone who only wants currency, you chose that person for whatever reason.
Mm.
What's the karma
Mhm.
between you and that person? Why didn't you see that up front? Because we show who we are at all times.
And going back to nature, men want to provide. That's why sometimes
Okay, well then guess what?
sometimes we want to take
Sometimes
care of
who you
somebody.
provide for shouldn't be the one you should be providing for.
Yes,
Mm.
right. But I'm just telling you, sometimes that's a mistake that
Okay,
that
but
kind of
okay, let's stop. Okay, I'm gonna say this again. We talk about choices and decisions. If when someone comes before me, the first thing I say is, what's the karma between me and this
Um,
person? What do me and this person come to work out? What's this really going on here? And I'm gonna become, as high priest, the watcher. I'm going to see what me and this person have to do together. Because there's something here. This ain't our first rodeo with each other. We're talking spiral. We're not talking linear. So everybody you meet, you've met before. But do you pay attention to what you're feeling when you see this person? Are you really paying attention? Because if you did, you would automatically know who that person was that stood before you. But I go back to, if a person is fine, if they got this, if they got that, we caught up into that. So everybody comes to show us who we are. So if I choose a relationship that isn't healthy, I chose it because there was something that I needed to see about me, not the person. It's never the person. It's always me. It's me. I chose that because I needed something. I needed to see who I was. What I like about this cosmology is every plasma, every kin, we have an opportunity to express our divine self. We have an opportunity to express our greatness, but in order to express that greatness, the opportunity has to show up. I don't like to call it a challenge. I don't like to call it's an opportunity. How do I look at this opportunity? Do I see it as a good thing? I just say it's an opportunity for me to express my true self. So once again, people keep forgetting when sister called me, oh, well, he did this to me. I said, when you first met him, what did you feel?
Mhm.
What's the
Mhm.
first thing that came to you when you first met this person?
Mhm.
And why didn't you pay attention to that?
Mhm.
So it goes back to decisions. If I made a decision, I'm going to accept, it's my responsibility. I'm accountable. But I just think that we need to stop saying men this and women that. That's that war thing we got going on to me. If a
I
person
think.
shows up and they're not at their true highest character, you have a choice.
Hmm.
So how can we be mad at the choice we made and blame it on somebody else and you make that choice about that person?
yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. Beautiful.
And there are some
Like what
women
you
are
said
providers.
about. I like what you were saying about holding the space. That we just have to, if we, as we know, we've been talking about this the entire show. That this is now we're in that energy where there is, uh, I think I like what you said. We're past the awakening. We woke,
Mhm.
right? And
Yes.
those who are certain, they have that certainty. We know what we're doing. We know why we're here, and we need. It's okay now to
Yes.
go ahead and move ahead of the. Go on and you got the baton and you got to go ahead and be 100 yards ahead. We're not doing anybody any favors by just sitting there pacing ourselves. It's okay to go ahead and go ahead with that, take the baton and go and forge ahead, because then you'll be there holding the space, like you said, OJ Yemi, that that's okay. It's okay for us to hold this space and be in it and walk ahead, and because we're sure we know what we're doing, we're certain, right? We don't have no more questions about, is it okay for us to go ahead and shift the global consciousness? Is it okay for us? I forgot, Dr. Pruitt, what was it in the beginning? Uh, it was something very similar. I was
Raise the
just,
vibrations. Raise
there
the
we go,
vibrations.
raising the vibration. Like,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, it's okay, for us to go ahead and just do just that. And
Yeah.
as we hold these spaces, then more will come and more will come. It's all right to just to do that and do it.
Right.
I
And when
know.
we see a sister
Question.
that can do that, then we help her.
I
We
Mhm.
say,
build with her.
I say,
That's what we do.
Yes.
What you need,
I
sis, I
say,
got you. I'm gonna keep the sacred. I got you. I'm gonna help you.
Yes.
Don't not looking for anything, just to help.
I say.
That's what our ancestors did. I can we come from the South. And I can if Sister Sally Sue was sick, them sisters got together with them baskets under their arm, them
So
headscarves on their
did.
head, and they was going to Sister Sally Sue's house to do whatever was needed.
Say.
So I say if we see a sister struggling, why can't we say, oh sis, what can I do to help you? It don't always have to be currency. You want me to watch your children?
Right. Right.
You need me to help you wash. You need me to help clean your house. What do you need that I can assist you to make your load lighter?
Yes.
Real quick, somebody asked a question. We should you pushed in 100 grams of ounces of silver. What are your thoughts on gold? If you can get your hands on it, if you can make it make sense. I'm not the biggest fan of gold. I think when they say whoever makes the gold makes the rule, that goes back to Dr. Pruitt, one of her old lectures, where she said their God is gold, oil, and drugs. If I can get my hands on gold, it's strictly for to trade and barter with them. I just sold some gold the other day. I'll sell gold faster than I sell silver. I also think that gold is way more, like God has said, there's a lot of fake news out there. This gold is way more abundant than we really think. They wouldn't be talking about gold standard if it wasn't. If you can get your hands on gold, yes, get it. I don't think that you should go all out to spend $5,000 on 1 ounce. When you can, think about what you can get in 5,000 in silver and copper. You know what I'm saying? I'm not pushing a narrative. I'm pushing what makes sense. Just number wise. You know what I'm saying? Some people try to tell you just whatever. I'm trying to push what makes sense for you.
Yeah.
If the price correction, like Dr. Pruitt always mentioned, if the pricing correction goes up, yeah, you got 1 ounce of silver. But if you had 100 ounces, 1 ounce of gold. But if you have 100 ounces of silver, and each ounce of silver was corrected to, let's say, $1,000 an ounce, that means we can go buy land. We can go buy land. You know what I'm saying? We talking about financial freedom. It's not just the game. It's just the name of the game is to get out the game. But a lot of other people forget it. We forget what we're doing sometimes. But as far as it go, if you can get it for the cheap, get it for the cheap. How do you get it for the cheap? I mean, honestly, me personally, I'm not investing in gold like that. I can tell you a lot of ways to get it cheap. There's brothers in South Africa we can connect with. I'm sure Dr. Pruitt knows a bunch of people where we can connect with a lot of people that deal in the gold market. I'm not into the gold market unless if you can get it for cheap, we can control the masses if we have gold. But the silver is not something. I think the silver. I deal with silver a lot. I just went to a big place. I bought a lot of antiques with silver. Essentially, the silver that I got, the first thing we do, if you get silver, it's not just having. I don't care what price they say. They can say it's $30 tomorrow, and I'm gonna go buy some more. And guess what I did? I went and cast it. I have a mate to me that just cast. He melted it and said, "What image do you want?" I said, "I want an image of the Dogon. I want one in an image of Nefertiti. I want one in the image of Morris Queen." You'll see in the next couple of days. But wait, we put our own images in silver. We just said silver is very spiritual. We just don't tap into it. You know what I'm saying? In a certain type of way. But if silver spiritual, that's why they've been putting their faces and their images on. You already know this, the bison. What's on the back of the bison? Black diamond, right? Who's on the front of the bison coin? The bison nickel or the bison silver dollar. The three chiefs. So we got to start putting our own stuff back into it. That's you know what I'm saying? If we start being creative, we create our own reality. We create our own reality down here. We're supposed to live in luxury. We have to study luxury. We have to understand what luxury is, and we don't get it and give it right back. That's when it comes to financial literacy, which you're always speaking of. Like OJ Yemi just told us, this is the habit of it. Going back to the gold question, what do you think about the gold thing? I'm not that invested in it. If you can get it for cheap, get it for the cheap. I don't trust, you know what I'm saying? When I get it, I'm making deals. Right now, what is 100 ounces of silver to one ounce of gold? Goddess, how do you feel about that, Dr. Kill?
I agree with you 100%. I don't even have much to add to it. Silver, it's used for what in catalytic converters. Silver is used for solar panels, silverware. Silver is used in electronics. Silver is a conductor of electricity. There's so many reasons to have silver. So many more. And it's jewelry. It's money. I wouldn't want to spend $5,000 an ounce for 1 ounce of gold, like you said, when I can have far more silver or copper. As a matter of fact, silver and copper were just added to the United States Geological Survey's critical minerals list. They need silver and gold very, very badly. Think about all of the suppressed technology that will need silver. Gold is nice. It's been used for money and it's been used for jewelry, but silver, we need more. It has more uses. And like you said, when that gold to silver ratio shrinks from 100 to 1 ounce, when it shrinks down to 30 to 1, 3 to 1, 1 to 1, then maybe I'll trade in some silver for some gold. But I'm not about, this is me. I don't have that type of fiat to go and, put it into gold when I can have silver, and it's actually, to me, it has more value. That's just me.
How you feel about that, Goddess Maat?
It is not my expertise, so I am learning. We're listening to you guys, so that makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, I say this: you're all about the calendar, the 13, and we always talk about wave spells. And yes. I know Malachi George said something that really set with me for years. He said, "I can't bring you what you want, so you can learn to want what I came to bring." I said, we make the silver look flashy, we can make it look cool and everything else, but more than anything, it was technology. They noticed that they're doing a ritual every time they stamp. That's why they had the mint in Philadelphia. That's why they got the mints in Denver. They stamped their images on it. And now, once we get into it, you're all about the calendar, wave spells, moon magic, silver's moon technology. With so many of your frequencies, the frequencies that yourself, Goddess Maat is on, the frequencies that OJ Yemi's on, if I go get you a Maat coin, and I mean, I can show it to you. I ain't doing it. Or the goddess, she has a goddess on her necklace that represents energy.
I do. It's beautiful. I don't know if you can see it.
It's representing an energy. You see what I'm saying? When you put anything in these metals are conducting energy, right? And like you said, if you put good energy into this metal, like vibranium or uranium or iridium, silver, they have a vibration. We don't understand. OJ Yemi just said it. We really don't understand the element aspect of it. I got to make it look cool for the younger people to really tap into it, because at the end of the day, I just want us to have it. I have plenty. Somebody say they have zero, but I have plenty. So the only reason I'm telling it is because the more of us have it, listen, we are trying to mess up their system. They need this because they want to keep you in an illusionary world of AI. They need it because they're feeding AI system because they would rather give you the illusion. Stay in the illusion world. Do everything but have it for real. The goddess just said, and I don't want to say too much, but she just said you can use this for medicine. We've always used it for medicine. Manifestation. Just did your ritual on the new year. Happy New Year, everybody, by the way. We just and I hope y'all had y'all black eyed peas and cabbage. We always do it at the wrong time. Maybe we should do it at the new right now.
I'm saying.
Silver, and you put on for all these phases of the moon. And we go by your calendar. When you tell us what the wave spell is, hold that silver in your hand and manifest. And watch how quick it comes, like they say with the quicksilver. You know what I'm saying? Or I know they're talking about Mercury, but why did you know what I'm saying? They call it quicksilver for a reason. Watch how fast you can manifest. When we don't, when we take the fiat out of when you manifest everything that you need and get out that scarcity mindset and that fear, survival mode, and we manifest, what do we need to manifest? We need houses. We need land. Like OJ Yemi said, we don't need just houses. We need all the land. Let's go deeper than that. We need the mineral rights. What can we grow on this land to automatically make us money? At the end of the day, we only want to shy away from it. But listen, if we get a bunch of acres of land, I want to grow a mushroom farm. We're about to, guess what? Everybody wants to be plant-based. Let's grow mushroom farms. They're very easy to grow. Mushroom farms for medicine, mushrooms for food, shiitake, turkey tail, reishi. There's so many different things. That's just an avenue. Let's make sure that I make y'all wealthy. And my word to the end, I want to make sure the tribe is wealthy so we don't have to worry about backdooring each other because he got more money or he got this. No, what do you want so we can go and get it out the way now? Let me go and get you a little. If I'm a genie, if I'm fire, if I'm a genie, and you rub me, let's go and get to the point. What do you really want? Make sure you, when you manifest with that silver, make sure you say exactly what you want. Not no, you see what I'm saying? That's the important part. Silver represents the woman, does it not? We're talking about doesn't matter. We're talking about reevaluating our women and our finances, are we not?
Yes.
So that OJM, how you feel about it?
Well, I'm like I don't know a lot about gold and silver, but I do know that whatever we're looking for, we got it.
Mm.
Whatever we're looking for, we are it.
Mm.
And we get ready to go into a new wave spell.
Okay.
Starting tomorrow plasma. We're coming into the red lunar serpent.
No, magnetic.
Magnetic serpent. Cha-ching.
Magnetic.
So we're leaving, and as a matter of fact, we're coming into a new season. We're coming into the transformation season. We're leaving the refining. We're coming into to the transforming. We're leaving the white, and we're coming 105. We're coming into the blue. Transforming season. And
That's red.
transforming and initiating.
Okay, I got you. I feel you. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And guess what? The next plasma after that, we have 10 consecutive gap activation portals to use. So you see, not only how wise this cosmology is, it's so wise until the only thing you gotta do is just follow it. You don't have to even believe it. You talk about bearing fruit, the next 14 plasmas bear fruit.
I know we're pushing some time, and it's just about me one way or the other. It's 100% on y'all because I respect y'all time and everything else. Are y'all okay? Or do y'all want to go ahead and start closing it out, or what?
But I do want Maya to break down what I just said.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. So we are this energy. I love what you were talking about with the metals, and as you were talking about it, I was like, see, I like to experience it first, and then it'll make more sense to me because then I'll be able to speak about it from experience. But as you were speaking about it, and thinking about those metals and having them activate these portals that we're about to go in, we're going into a cycle of life force, and that's starting tomorrow. And the unique thing about this cycle that we're going in, not just taking this particular wave spell that begins to initiate life force, it ends with awareness, right? It ends, and so this period that we're in is right in the middle of the calendar, right? And I like to explain it as a point of attuning frequencies. This is where you have this very highly activated energy that attunes your force of life, right? And it culminates in you being aware of where that is actually going to and how that's going to blossom. And it's this unique energy where you get to balance the most efficient things from the past and and project them into the future so you can use them right now. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like a period of attunement, and the energy of this is so high, is so activated, Why? Because of who we are. You know, because we are the divine entities, the cosmos on earth, goddesses, gods, whatever you want to call it, divine beings here. And so when we start to tune in our life force, oh, it takes a lot. We got to go into the past and bring it and send Kofa, the things from the ancestors, and we got to go into what we saw into the future and bring it all into the now and attune those frequencies. And so thinking about this as it relates to, you've been talking about the silver, you've been talking about the jade. I think that the feminine energy, I know, yes, you said it's related to the silver, but I think it's related to all of the elements, because we had everything, you know, we form stem cells. So if you start looking into the body, we have everything within the body. And as we are being formed in the womb, right, all of these things, all that crystalline energy that you and Dr. Pruitt and I heard OJ you were talking about, all of those things are right there in the universe or the uterus, right? We have all of these energies, but as you start talking about it, I thought about, I wonder what happens is when we chant in some of these energies, if we use the element or silver or jade, and I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out. Yes, I am. I'm going to have that experience, so I'll be able to answer that question directly.
What did you say the wave spell we were in again? Well, you can say galactic what?
The serpent, the red magnetic serpent.
I had to show y'all my pinstripe fire serpent. Yeah. Too the same way, like even when it gets back into our spirituality, when we get back into the serpent, and I know I always bring that, you know what I'm saying, but when we get back into the serpent, this is the business. This is just like a gemstone. You see what I'm saying? Again, especially for teaching us about the calendar, and I was thinking about you over the weekend, and I found this calendar too. I don't really know exactly what's going on with it. You might be able to explain it better. Do you know about this one?
Yeah, I see. That's the one you showed me the picture of. Yeah, those are the glyphs of the archetypes around the side, on the going around the 20 archetypes.
I say tonight. I appreciate y'all so much that 20 archetypes, like they say, we are the elements. Exactly, we are the universe. And once we get back into all that, into it, and understanding each one of these goddesses talk about, yeah, we're living our purpose, and like they say, no scarcity, no etc., no more war. That sounds beautiful. So, goddess, Dr. Kia Pruitt, what is your Cash App, and how can we most definitely, please, again, if you haven't followed Dr. Kia Pruitt, please follow Dr. Kia Pruitt, and please check out that live she just did with Sheikh Jacob Bey. That brother's amazing. I love his work. I want to hear more from him. I would love to have him on the channel as well. He was pretty cool. He's saying a lot of amazing things. What is your Cash App, and how can we get in contact with you guys?
Thank you so much. My Cash App is $Mama Kia 13. That's $MAMAKIA13. Mama Kia 13. I am on all my social media platforms as Dr. Kia Pruitt. So you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, what else? Instagram, LinkedIn, True Social as well. Thank you so much, family. Thank you for having me, and thank you for honoring me to be on the show. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be here with the Soul Tribe and to meet these amazing goddesses and to be with you, Brother Orisha. You've been a blessing to my life, and you're going to come onto our show too, right?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I would love to.
You're welcome. So next week, I think we said we're going to do it next week. Is it that next week? I think it was next. Was it next week? I have to look at my calendar to see when it is.
I'm on your time whenever you're ready for me, guys.
Okay, darling. Thank
I
you.
want to be your jeweler.
Oh, I love that. I love. Oh, I got my own jeweler. Thank you.
uh, Goddess, High Priestess Maat. Can you please, because you just did a live also, and all your lives are like I really wake up, especially on Friday risings, and listen to y'all. Your whole tribe is amazing. That's why I'm so big on not letting everybody in, because I don't want, when you got something that pure and that powerful, you need to vet people and make sure that these people are worthy of your time and respect. You know what I'm saying? So tell us about Melanated Immortals. How can we get in contact with you and your cash app, please?
Yep. Melanatedimmortals.com. I am in Cash App jail currently. So you're going to have to use PayPal. PayPal.me/Maat Foundation. And but you can find out more about the things that we do at melanatedimmortals.com. Yes, it definitely has been an honor. I have really enjoyed being here. It was so great to meet you, Dr. Kia Pruitt. I'm gonna be following you, and I want to talk to you though, because I got some stuff on the Nasara. So I thank you so much, Brother Orisha Stone. I always enjoy being here, and of course, Mama OJ Yemi. You know, she is the reason that I'm here, right? I did not know you until OJ Yemi introduced us, and it is always an honor to be in her presence. So thank you so much.
And what's your cash app, guys? Oh no, you say no cash app. You know what? I'm eventually we're gonna get out that whole cash app system anyway. It's just a fast way to get it. But if y'all want to support her right now, silver sheep, buy an ounce of silver. Buy yourself an ounce of silver. Buy your kids an ounce of silver. Right now, silver is cheap. Everybody like, man, you were wrong, man. You said silver was gonna buy us a house. Man, silver the went go buy an ounce of buy me an ounce of silver since it's so cheap. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta give me no silver. You can buy me some copper. You don't gotta pay always a fiat. Silver and gold goes a long way. If you would like to support one of these goddesses and you don't want to use cash, buy them an ounce of silver and mail it to them. Contact them, subscribe to their channels, tap into their channels. I hope that you and Dr. Kia Pruitt and Mama Kali build nations, to say the least. Dynasties.
Yes.
5 seasons on Fox. OJ Yemi, the godmother herself.
Nabi.
Support somebody that has everything. What can we do for the OJ Yemi?
Well, what you can do for me is support Mimic, support Dr. Pruitt, and support you.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, appreciate you.
And just unify. If I can't give you anything else, unify. There's nothing we can't achieve. But I just want to thank you all, Nabi. I thank you, High Priestess. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for your service. You know, I just thank you. Thank you, Nabi, for being the red Skywalker, being the prophet. Because so often the prophet isn't honored in his own country. It takes courage to say that, you know what, I'm going to honor the divine feminine. That takes courage. It takes courage for High Priestess Maat to do what she do. That's courage. The courage says that I don't care who stands with me. I know this is what I got to do going forward. It's courage for Dr. Pruitt. I think she has her grandbabies. I'm not for sure. That's courage.
I do.
Especially after your children, that's courage. So I thank you for all your sister, and I thank you all, because without us, what would that be?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
as sisters, we come to lead. There's nothing wrong with leading. There's nothing wrong with leading as a sister.
I agree.
Man, a big shout out to my investors, my supporters, Goddess Harriet, Brother Hawkeye, Brother Dustin. Big shout out to those. We talk about a lot of men ain't supporting the matriarch. No, they not getting the recognition that they deserve, and they ain't getting the respect. That's why we even do it, because a lot of these other networks, it's a chicken circuit. Like OJ Yemi be saying, we're really
Don't
trying
say
to
that, Nabi.
South Park. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to connect. We're trying to create. You know what I'm saying? We really want. I want to see us all have it. The more of us have it, the more powerful we become. The more leverage we have. They say that, like the guy that said, we have the highest spending power at whatever they want to call it. But they say the black dollar is the highest spending. You know what I'm saying? Imagine that when we spend that with us, we shouldn't be worried about losing a job if you know how to do hair. Because guess what? If they laying off all these jobs, why did they say that you had to have a license to do hair? Back in the day, why did they say you had to have a license to do nails? Why those are jobs? They're coming back. Doulas. We don't appreciate doulas enough. We don't appreciate midwives enough. We don't appreciate. There's a trillion things that we could be doing. If you haven't locked in already, I don't know where you've been for the last 6 years, but now's the time to lock in. They even gave you another chance because they lowered everything one more time. But because I don't know what you think, silver is not an unlimited supply. Right now it's down because Donald Trump is doing what Donald Trump is going to do. He went over there, played I Declare War, and took Venezuela silver. He's over there doing business again in Mexico. They're getting resources. We might not want to acknowledge it, but we might not want to look at it because it seems materialistic. But on the overscale, on the chessboard, I guess everybody else is too. That's what the name of BRICS is all about. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. All of y'all were powerful. Dr. Pruitt, I hope that I was worth your time and respect. I look forward to being with you again, and thank you for even honoring. Also, thank you for your gratitude. For you to be at the level you are, you're very humble. All of you are very humble. Also, gratitude. OJ Yemi's always trying to introduce. It's networking, and we don't understand the power of networking. If we're on the obsidian screen, that means we're doing reverse engineering of the poison that they put out there. We're trying to clean that up. You know what I'm saying? One story at a time, I suppose. So please, again, follow each and every one of these goddesses. Support each one of these goddesses. And with that, I'll say.
But we're going to keep sacred space for Sister Myra Moss. We're going to keep sacred space for the other sister that you talked about. And so we're just going to lift each other up. We're just going to keep the sacred space for any sister, anybody that's going through anything. We're going to keep that sacred space.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Man, take care of the kids. Love the goddesses. Support yourself. Get your 100 ounces of silver up. You know what I'm saying? To the real ones out there. I know it's hard out there, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to.
Hard.
You right. You're so right.
It's not hard.
We're going to get it together. I'm just getting these comments because so many amazing comments. Thank you for everybody in the chat, all the tribe. You know what I'm saying? There's no big eyes, no U's. Thank y'all for y'all support. I'm just trying to get all these because there's a lot of great comments. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
I'm just happy to be here. Again, man, it's a lot of love to each one of y'all. You have no idea how you motivate and keep us all growing and everything. So thank you, Daddy. Thank you for your gratitude. Thank you for preaching gratitude. Thank you for your integrity. Thank you for preaching integrity. Thank you for unity. May I thank you for teaching those 52 acts of unity. Thank you, OJ. Give me, you know what I'm saying? Again and again, I appreciate y'all for so much. I could go all night. But hopefully we can do it again and we'll have everybody with us next time. And thank you for everybody in the tribe that understood and everything. And hopefully we'll do it again soon, I say.
Yes, I say.
What is remembered?
Every rap is intentional, a reminder that we are all connected, from the cosmos to the core. Welcome back, family, to the frequency.
Here, we honor the stone people, the record keepers, ancient memory.
Tonight, we listen to our elders, the wise women, the seers,